It's a new week, Monday, May 23rd, 2022, and you're checking in with Sports Time on Sports 56. Gabe Kuhn and Brett Stats Norsworthy with you. We're always live from the Family Leisure Studios in beautiful Memphis, Tennessee. I am Gabe Kuhn on Twitter at G_Kuhn71. Producing the program on the ones and twos is Go Tigers 247 writer Bryant Dacus on Twitter at Bryant_Dacus. Bryant, what's happening?
Oh, nothing much, Gabe. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you. And my partner does pre and post for the Ole Miss Football Radio Network. He is Brett Stats Norsworthy on Twitter at Brett Norsworthy. Brett, what's happening?
Not a lot. Good afternoon. Start of a new week.
Yeah, I like the room you're in. Looks nice and fancy back there. You look like they got a little bit of the St. Louis drawn on the walls, the streets.
They got it covered here tonight. The Blue Jays in town, first of two.
How about it? First off, our show brought to you by Lexus of Memphis, and we have a whole bunch to get to from over the weekend. Justin Thomas wins his second major at the PGA Championship in Southern Hills after beating Will Zalatoris in a 3-hole playoff, and that really doesn't tell the whole story because we saw what I can only term as an epic collapse on the 18th hole from Mito Pereira after playing just an unbelievable tournament, leading it going into the 18th hole, blew up completely.
He did, but have you ever seen anybody so very pleased even after the blow-up? It made John Vandevelde look not such a disaster.
He was pretty even-keeled the whole week, and even after the blow-up was not – he was just happy with how happy to be here. Just happy to be here.
The good for him.
Well, honestly, the fact that he was in it on a Sunday the way he was, about to win, to him is probably. I know it's tough though. I know it's tough to blow up like that on the 18th, hit it in the water, drop, and then he had a chance to chip and put himself close to at least tie and put himself into the playoff, but doubles at 6 under to put him at 4 under and misses the playoff completely. That was ridiculous.
And just missed the birdie on 17 that probably would have sealed it. He could have teed off with a pitching wedge and probably been able to win the golf tournament. I was hoping that he would roll up his trousers and go down in the water and go full John Vandevelde.
Try to hit it up out of there? Yeah. That was a little too deep of water. I was thinking about that. It's kind of hard to control your club face through that water.
I swear Vandevelde went down in deeper. Vandevelde, the water he went down in the Open Championship, needed a lifeguard on duty.
Also this weekend, the Preakness ran. And I know that the win comes out of the sails of the horse racing season when you don't have a Triple Crown winner possibility. Rich Strike was not going. But early voting gets the win while the favorite Epicenter, who I ended up trying to pick to come in first, comes in second. We have plenty of NBA discussion upcoming. Eastern Conference Finals goes down tonight. Game 4 at 7:30, and the Celtics will do what they can to protect home court and try to even up the series at 2 after losing over the weekend. Western Conference Finals, not so fun. Warriors take a commanding, and let's be real, just completely honest about it, and we'll talk about it in a second, insurmountable 3-0 lead at this point after they beat the Mavs 109-100 in Dallas last night. We had the NBA All-Defensive Team release as well. Jaren Jackson Jr. makes first team for the first time in his career, and we always talk about the reputation being built as a defensive player. It seems like he has done that after this year's season and being the blocks leader in the NBA. Also, in the MLB, a situation developed over the weekend. Yankees, Josh Donaldson. White Sox, Tim Anderson. Not good. We will discuss that later on in the show. And on top of all that, Millennial Monday at the bottom of hour 2. Have a Adam Sandler question in there for you. There's some things mixed in there. I did ask a 48-year-old before the show, so we tested these questions on a 48-year-old that will not be named around the office. He got a 3 out of 5, Brett. So the pressure's on at this moment for Millennial Monday at the bottom of the second hour.
You mentioned the Golden State lead. I think I saw this number, 146-0 in the history of the NBA playoffs when someone's up 3-0. 146-0.
Yep.
So Dave Roberts and Kevin Millar aren't walking through that door.
Mm-hmm. As far as guests are concerned, David Cobb at 4 o'clock, talk some college football and college basketball. We'll get to some SEC with him as well as Chris Gordy at 4:30. He's from Locked On, the SEC podcast, and he does sports talk for Sports Talk 790 in Houston. 5 o'clock, bring on DeMichael Cole from the CA to talk the Grizzlies offseason, talk some NBA as well. AutoZone listener line 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. You can also watch us live and message us on our social, Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Go to our website, sports56whbq.com. Yeah, it's insurmountable. 3-0 lead for the Warriors, and we said this going into the series. Outside of Luka for the Mavs, and he's dropped 40. They're 2-6 when he drops 40 in the playoffs in his career. Outside of Luka, they just don't seem to have enough to combat what the Warriors are doing to them. And last night, and they've been very, very heavy from three. They live and die by the three ball. But last night, from those surrounding players, you've been getting decent contributions from Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie. But beyond that, you have to see something out of Reggie Bullock. You have to see something from the three-point line out of Maxi Kleber. Both those guys last night from the three-point line and from the field, 0 for 15, 0 for 12 from three. So,
yeah, and that was at home, so it's not going to get any better for them. Maybe a gentleman's sweep, but more likely probably the not-so-gentlemanly 4-0. And, Gabe, who should feel worse, the Phoenix Suns or the Memphis Grizzlies?
I think the Grizzlies. I really do. It's insane to think about getting this matchup against this Mavs team. I think the Grizzlies could have gotten through that, and they gave the Warriors in that Nuggets series and in this series rolling, not showing any signs of slowing down against the Grizzlies. They had their struggles.
They had speed bumps, and they had speed bumps against the Grizzlies without Ja.
Mm-hmm. They sure did, and they didn't shoot well that entire series against the Grizzlies. But they started as that series went on, they started to get inside the paint more, finish at the rim more. Jordan Poole was fantastic at doing that. That's what they're doing to this Mavs team, who wants to shoot threes the entire game. They have found a way to move the ball offensively, get inside, and expose what the Mavs are doing defensively. And again, I've said this before the series, I think they're a good team defense. They're one of the best in the NBA, but piece by piece, I don't know how good they are defensively.
And I've been suggesting that this could be last dance.
I don't think
this
so.
Morning, and you've roundly rejected that the whole time. And this morning, I see this nugget on Get Up. Not only not the last dance, is this the beginning of the next great Golden State dynasty?
And honestly, I think it's too early to say something like that. But you look at some of the young pieces they have. It's not a joke. Andrew Wiggins, they're still paying him big money, and he is playing really good basketball. Averaging 20 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists in this series, making in his career, I think he's gotten the empty stats argument. Andrew Wiggins, in a lot of ways, averages about 20 points per game his entire career, but he's been on some bad teams and hasn't made the most high IQ basketball.
No signature moment.
Hasn't made the most high IQ basketball plays in his career. Has played dumb at times, takes dumb shots. But this series, he's making high IQ plays. He's also, in the playoffs, we've seen a couple of plays, including last night's dunk over Luka. He makes some plays that have sort of demoralized the opponent. I remember the dunk he had in the Grizzlies series as well.
Over
I believe
Brandon Clark.
Over top of Brandon Clark. He's making some very important plays for that team, and I feel like his entire career he has been sort of downed for who he is as a player, and it's paying off now.
Well, so much was expected of him, the draft status, and maybe the franchise label put on him. But the biggest missing piece for a next great Golden State dynasty, the place where they missed with that, is James Wiseman.
Mm-hmm. And who knows? He could be fine as well. But they also, Jordan Poole, Moses Moody could be something. Jonathan Kuminga, I really like. They have a chance to be good going forward. Gary Payton too. Yep. Now, you said something there, and I've heard this point made about Andrew Wiggins. He's a first overall pick in a draft. I think Joel Embiid was third, and there were some guys around him that probably have had better careers. But if I told you what Andrew Wiggins was going to be as a player, if I told you he was going to be a 20-point guy for 8 years following that, would you take him number 1 overall? Every time. Every time. You talk about positioning in certain NBA drafts, and you can do hindsight. Hindsight's always going to be 20/20, but in that moment, I don't mind that pick. Andrew Wiggins has been a decent number 1 overall pick, in my opinion.
But still waiting on that signature moment. This year may be it.
Well, and only one All-Star. I get that. And, I think through his time with the Timberwolves, you saw that he can't lead a team. He's not going to be a Steph Curry for anybody or a LeBron James. He's not going to lead a playoff team. He's not going to be your number one option. But you start putting him down there, third, fourth option, maybe fifth option, he becomes an important piece, and he fits into the role. And that was the question: is he going to give up his shot selection? He's a high usage player. Is he going to be able to accept that role? He's accepted that role with the Warriors.
Anthony Edwards may end up being one, or the second one, in my opinion. But only one high draft pick for the Timberwolves has really ever worked out, and that was Kevin Garnett. That they thought Christian Laettner was going to be a franchise-type player.
Karl Anthony Towns, certainly a high pick that has worked out for them. I don't like Karl Anthony Towns. I don't know if he's going to win a championship at any point. I don't know if he's that type of guy.
And you couple him with Edwards. You're right.
But he's another one that has worked out for them.
Mm-hmm. Might be working out.
Yes. I mean, he's a multiple-time All-Star.
But they've had a lot of swings and misses.
They have. But I was posed that question. If you knew what you knew about Andrew Wiggins, would you take him number one overall? Yeah, absolutely. We're 8-9 years into this guy's career. He averages 20, has about 5 rebounds a game, and 3 assists. 100%. I sign up for that every day of the week.
Yeah, now he's with a great supporting cast where he's not asked to be franchise.
Right, and that's what I think. That's what's needed to be done with him
like
this
Shane
entire
Battier
time.
Wasn't franchise here, even with Powell. He just wasn't. He was a helper.
For a guy like Andrew Wiggins, like thrusting him into that number one role on an NBA team, I feel like is a little foolhardy, considering even in college he didn't show like that he was going to be that he showed he was going to be high usage from a volume shooting perspective, but he wasn't a distributor. He's not a guy that's he's a piece. He's a scoring piece, and I don't think he was used like that in Minnesota. He was used as the second coming, the guy who was going to get that franchise to the next stratosphere and then to a championship, and that was not going to happen with his type of player.
We probably need to quit putting that franchise label on so many higher draft picks. Mike Conley wasn't franchise; he was a piece. Mm-hmm. Jaren Jackson, I don't think was franchise, but was a piece, and then the franchise was Ja.
Yeah. But I agree. When it comes to expectations in the NBA draft, we always look at hindsight too. We want to who was drafted around him? But Joel Embiid was drafted 3rd overall in the Andrew Wiggins draft. Oh, they made a mistake. No, they didn't make a mistake. They made the decision for them in that moment. Did it work out with the Timberwolves? No, but Andrew Wiggins is still a fine NBA player, good NBA player.
This hour of our show brought to you every day by the one and only Lexus dealership in town. That's Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2022 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. The one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. 901-334-9673. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
First of all, top story, May 23rd. Shout out to Alex Kuhn. Alex's birthday today, my brother's birthday, 31 years young. Had to give that shout out. No, he's probably listening out there. Also, for my top story, PGA Championship, Justin Thomas gets his second major. And there's been the questions over the years with him about, is it unfulfilled? Has he really fulfilled what we thought he was going to be for all these years? Always been a top 20 golfer, top 10 in a lot of respects. But he finally breaks through over Will Zalatoris in a playoff. And some of the viewing of this PGA Championship and how much was going on down the stretch. I mean, yes, there was a lack of massive names. Justin Thomas, the biggest name by far, that was sort of in that final group that was able to that had a chance to win. But there was a lot of intrigue. Mito Pereira, 6 under going in, leading by a stroke on the final hole, on the 18th hole, absolutely slices a drive into the water, ends up double bogeying, putting himself out of contention for a playoff to win that tournament. That was unbelievable. And there's a lot of guys in the mix. Cameron Young was around. Matt Fitzpatrick was around. A lot of guys around in that final, in the final round on Sunday. But Justin Thomas, good for him. Very cool to see him finally break through and get another.
My top story right there with the PGA Championship. Low man wins. It took 75 holes to sort it out. And really all 4 seasons of weather over 4 days in Tulsa on a classic track. Golf course won as much as anything else. But Justin Thomas, he wins his second major. It's also his second PGA. He has about 20 years now to fill out the back of the baseball card for the Golf Hall of Fame. He's going. It's just a matter of how many and what, and Ryder Cups and all that good stuff. Also, a big top story and a tip of the hat to the pro shop at Southern Hills. Whenever they reopen the course for the membership, probably take a week or two before they tear down everything and let them back out there, they're going to sell a bunch of pitching wedges, because every member is going to want to go out to 6, behind 6, and try that shot off the cart path and destroy clubs.
Right.
So they're going to sell a lot of pitching wedges in the pro shop at Southern Hills. It was a wild Sunday. It took some help for Justin Thomas. And that damn Bama privilege comes through again.
Damn Bama privilege.
Not top story of the day.
That was what we saw last night. The Warriors take a 3-0 lead, 109-100, and they handled themselves. I thought the Mavs shot terribly at home. And they have taken 46 three-pointers a game for that team. Just seems overkill, especially when they haven't outshot the Warriors in any single game of this series. Just seems dumb. Seems at some point you'd want to try to probe and try to make something happen and then kick and get better looks, but it is what it is. But my not top story has to do with what Jason Kidd said after the game, obviously the head coach of the Mavs. He said, quote, "This is a lot bigger than one game or one series. This is huge for our franchise. None of you media guys had us here. You guys were all supposed to be on vacation. We're going against, you can call this a dynasty. This isn't the end. This is just the beginning," end quote. It's 3-0, Jason. I know that for the media people out here, for me and Brett, I mean, we're calling series right now, but you're the head coach of the Mavs right now who are down 3-0. You're already calling it a series? Sounds like you're throwing in the towel right this second. I didn't like how that message came across.
Yeah, he needs to be saying, I'm the Terry Francona of the NBA, and trying to come back from that 3-0 deficit that the Red Sox came back against the Yankees in 04. My not top story, poor Mito Pereira. I'm glad he's got a good attitude about it, because he just enters into the golf conversation with Jean Vandevelde, and that's not in good company. It's when GOAT doesn't mean greatest of all time, too. And oh my, he was squeezing that club tight as he could on 18. That swing, I don't know what he was trying to do.
Good Lord, I don't know what that was.
He hadn't swung like that all week. He had the tournament sealed on 17. If it falls, didn't get the break, and was close to wrapping up the Wanamaker. Had one hand on that chalice and couldn't get the second one on it. Rough to see, but he's got a good attitude about it.
Happy to be here. That's what I got from him after the round and when he was talking.
I know the feeling. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. My gosh, good old Mito. That'll do it for top and not top story.
That was
of
rough,
the day.
wasn't it?
Oh, that was rough. That was very rough. And we have plenty more to get to on that.
Are you much on GOAT?
On
GOAT?
GOAT?
You think he choked?
Absolutely. That was almost the definition of choking. 18, you've been playing well. Did he have a double bogey the entire rest of the tournament? Probably not. And to do that on the last hole when you have a chance to go win it, if you just get par, come on.
And I had so many good nuggets for Will Zalatoris to be the first major champion with a Z starting his last name since Fuzzy Zeller. And there aren't that many major champion winners with even a Z in their last name. I had all those nuggets ready, and Will Zalatoris couldn't do it. But that shot he hit on 6. Everybody in that club will be out there trying that over the next 3 months.
Hey, and we still have nuggets to get to. We still have nuggets to get to here on the other side. We have to talk about Justin Thomas capturing his second major, and also Tiger Woods actually withdrew after his Saturday round. That coming up next on Sportstime with Gabe and Stats.
Get your afternoon started with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sang and Sports 56 Grind Time. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
It's time for another season of golf at Miramichi. You know the spot, 15 minutes north of downtown in Woodstock. I call it heaven. It's 330 acres of natural beauty, 7,400 yards of championship-level golf, but there are several different tee boxes which make it fun or competitive for every level of golf. And the practice facilities are as good as any country club, and every round of golf comes with a cart and complimentary range balls. You can really improve your game, and you'll love the prices too. Seniors can play Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for as low as $33. Again, the golf cart and the range balls are thrown in. The standard weekday rates are as low as $44. Friday, it's $50, and on Sunday, it's $55. You'll love the view from the terrace. You look out and see the best view in all of Shelby County. The whole experience, it's just fantastic. Go check it out yourself at Miramichi.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. As we all know, Memphis can be a hotbed for severe weather, and that weather can play havoc on our roofs. Most people don't know what they should do first when they're concerned about the condition of their roof. Call their insurance company, call a contractor, or trust a door-to-door salesman that's making claims that are hard to believe. My advice would be call the contractor that you know and trust. If you don't know any, research your local contractors and give 2 or 3 a call. I hope your research will lead you to us. Have your roof inspected, decide for yourself what you should do, and whether or not you should file a claim with your insurance company. It's your home, it's your policy, and it's your money. Don't let anyone pressure you into anything. If you give Five Ash Roofing a call, we promise personal service with a member of our family with no pressure and no hype. Five Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Let's kickstart summer together at Lowe's this Memorial Day. Keep your home nice and cool with our exclusive Harbor Breeze Hathaway 52-inch ceiling fan special value. Was $134.98, now $99.98. And get our Pit Boss Pro Series 850 pellet grill special value. Was $549, now $499. Take advantage of our summer savings this Memorial Day exclusively at Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Valid 5/19 through 5/25.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
Open the door, sit in the seat, turn the key, and go.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
So heading into Sunday, Justin Thomas sat at 7, tied for 7th with Bubba Watson and Stuart Sink at 2 under after shooting a 74 on Saturday, which was his worst round by the end of the whole thing. And he was 7 shots behind Mito Pereira, who was at 9 under at that time. By the end of the whole thing, he wins it in a playoff versus Will Zalatoris. And going into the day, I heard this stat on the broadcast toward the end, Brett. This is unbelievable to me. He had a 1.2% chance of winning that tournament based on his Sunday positioning.
Wonder what his FanDuel live betting odds were like all day.
Probably, oh my gosh,
And
up over plus 2,000.
He got the horrible weather Thursday. He got the worst of the weather Friday. Had a good round though, and then had the 74. And a lot of national golf writers really slammed him overnight and hit him pretty hard. Started the day, as you said, down 7. Got as many as down 8, I think, during the course of the day on Sunday, and he ended up right there. I thought, and I think he thought he didn't have enough at 5 when he didn't birdie 18, his 72nd hole, but he hung around and had the playoff, and it looked like for a little while it might be 3 or 4 people in a playoff. It was just 2, and Justin Thomas was just a little bit better than Will Zalatoris.
Yep.
Who do you think contends next at any PGA Tour stop? Never mind a major. Maybe this week at the Chuck Schwab. Maybe at Hartford, Mito Pereira or Will Zalatoris.
Will, by a lot. And here's the thing. When you look at Will, and so far this year, obviously the 2 majors, the Masters and the PGA Championship, tied for 6 at the Masters, and then now second. Finished second at the PGA Championship. I mean, he's turning
Mr. Major.
He's putting together a pretty good year in the grand scheme of things. The one thing I'd say about him is, and I thought this week he putted very well for the most part. It was, he's not known for his putter, but he's a putter away from being a contender just about every stop he's at. Because
it's right there.
He's right. He hits greens. Not necessarily a fairway guy, but he definitely hits greens. But he just, once he gets on the green. And did you see the zoom in on CBS's coverage of his, I forget what hole it was, but it was a tap in, I believe, for a birdie. It's almost like a figure 8, his putting stroke. I mean, it went back. It was all over the place.
I wouldn't suggest that at home.
Yeah, it was all over the place. I feel like he's very, very close there, though, because he was better this week.
I missed a late important tee shot of his, whereas at about 5:58:50 in the Central Time Zone, I guess in CBS Broadcast Central, the computer knows to fire to go to 60 minutes.
Yeah, right.
And it was almost the Heidi game there for a second. We didn't have anything.
They had commercials rolling over top of the
4
coverage.
minutes.
That was ridiculous.
They couldn't get out of it.
That was ridiculous. Now, granted, it was the playoffs different for the PGA Championship. It was the 3-hole aggregate, so it wasn't sudden death, which was you're going to be able to cover. But I was wondering why the commercials fired the way they did at that moment. I guess they thought there was going to be an outright winner.
I guess so. And what if we had missed one of the big moments? And the crowd mic seemed so loud, and that Tulsa crowd, were they oiled up yesterday?
Yeah, they brought it. They brought it for sure. But that type of tournament coming down to the guys on 17 and 18 and how close it was, you knew you were probably going to get very possible you're going to get a playoff if Mito screwed up on 18, which he did. I mean, I can see why they were amped up the way they were.
And it'd be a good topic for Wednesday with John Gordon. And we've talked about the moving the PGA Championship to May. And, of course, last year at Kiawah, it didn't factor in. But Tulsa had a little bit different weather. We've now kind of turned all 4 majors, or 3 of the 4 majors, into cooler, colder type events. The Masters it's not unusual for at least one of those 4 days, maybe 2, to be on the cooler side, especially in the morning. On Saturday, the whole day was really cold, really, really cold. And I took gloves. It kept me from being miserable. And this year you had at least 1.5 to 2 days of Tulsa. Well, you're going to get that at wherever the Open Championship is more times than not. You could even get a cooler morning or 2 in 6 weeks at Brookline in Boston at the Country Club.
Yeah. The weather was all over the place, though. In Tulsa. It was
and
heavy.
that's Tulsa.
Yeah.
You get every down of winter and every down of summer.
Last time it was there, though, wasn't it just summer the entire week?
Well, but it was
the
August.
weekend. Yeah.
But
okay.
it was
It's later
August
on.
of
I
07.
understand that. Yeah, but it was inconsistent. I mean, I can understand why there were some guys struggling. What was it? Late on Friday and early on Friday, late on Saturday.
You know
seemed
who
to be
loves
the tough times.
Merchandise tent. Sell every long sleeve thing they own.
Mm-hmm. So we talk about Mito Pereira, and honestly, one of the bigger chokes we've choke jobs. I'm going to call it that we've seen on a golf course in quite a while. And not to mention, I think choke is a double entendre there because he was choking the hell out of his driver on that 18th hole.
Yeah, you could see it.
He lost his mind.
A mess.
He lost his mind, and he had been. And I don't know how you viewed this. He seemed like he was cool, calm, collected until that point, until the 18th hole when it was real that he could win the PGA Championship.
The bad luck of the ball not falling on 17, that was painful. But then you could feel him really pressed. And I texted a friend of mine yesterday, hey, I know the feeling, Mito, except I was standing on the 18th tee of the Far City 4-ball Invitational when I choked like that in the fourth flight.
Yeah, what? I'm still confused about what he was trying to do on his tee shot on 18. He was trying.
He was trying like that all week.
I think he was trying to hit a fade of some sort and just
Kind of an Angel Cabrera swing on it.
I mean, short arm the heck out of it. He knew immediately too. He knew immediately, but he didn't even. He told. And did you hear him after the round? He said he didn't even think about water. Water wasn't even in his thought process, and he finds just about the only water on the 18th hole.
And Gabe, I know you heard it all through growing up with youth baseball when someone would just scream at the kid pitching, "Don't aim it, just let it go."
Right.
He was trying to guide it. He was trying to aim it.
He was. And that happens so often. You're playing not to lose. That's what it was, is what it felt like. You're not playing to win, but you're playing not to lose. And I understand for a guy like him. That was the first time he's been in a major that close to actually winning it. I can understand where you would choke up a little bit and be uncomfortable. But, my gosh, hadn't played like that for every hole before that. Seemed cool, calm, and collected until he got to that 18th.
And it takes a lot of the heat
T-box.
off Rory McIlroy, who now, especially when you juxtapose yesterday's leaderboard with Rory McIlroy's age, and Rory McIlroy, even by golf standards, by no standards, is Rory McIlroy old. But he is compared to that leaderboard from yesterday, and he let a good opportunity slip away with really just playing one good round and had terrible luck yesterday.
When you saw him, I mean, a 65 day one,
I thought he'd be around on Sunday.
Yes, but I didn't think that would hold for the rest of the week. I mean, luck seems to turn back into someone's face, and he had a 71-74. I thought yesterday, yes, he had some bad luck, could have gotten a couple more things to fall for him, but 68 as a final round in a PGA Championship after shooting a 71-74. I thought Rory was fine yesterday in particular.
He was, and that's not the big one that he wants. The big one he wants is to complete the career slam at Augusta National, and he played well there on Sunday. I think he would have to be the favorite going into St. Andrews. Maybe not the U.S. Open at Boston, but come St. Andrews at the Open Championship. But it was sad Saturday to see Tiger struggling like that and having to WD. And I thought he was going to WD after Saturday's round at the Masters. He didn't. He finished, and it was fun to see. But he's not close to right.
Yeah. What was the final tally for him? Because I mean, I think it's 12 over. Was that the final?
Shot 79 Saturday.
9 over on Saturday, but I think he was 12 over. 12 over when he withdrew. And for him, I think there has to be an understanding about how he's going to play from here on out. He has to have, if he's going to be obviously in these majors, he has to have an unbelievable Thursday and Friday. Because as the week wears on, as the tournament wears on, his joints, his leg, you know that it's going to catch up with him.
Well, the weather kind of got him. The weather, again, could, if he tries to play at the U.S. Open, you could in Boston have a real early day that's pretty cool. You're sure going to have it at the Open Championship. Now, the course there, just flat as a tabletop, and that's going to be good for him. But Saturday morning, I'm watching his practice routine, and Joe Buck and Michael Collins both saw it at the same time that everybody saw it. You saw his leg buckle around a bunker on Saturday morning. I don't think he can walk safely and securely across a parking lot.
So curious, you bring up cooler weather and a flat top. Flat, I understand, on a golf course, certainly going to help him in his walking, because going uphill, downhill is a struggle for him. Hardcore right now. I mean,
wonder which one hurts the worst, up or down.
But I feel like for Tiger, you want some hotter temperatures. You want something to be able to keep him warm throughout a day.
You want Tulsa 07.
Yeah, you want it to
105.
you want it burning hot for him out there on the golf course, because you don't
now, his
want
round
him.
Friday should hang in the Tiger Louvre to shoot 69 and have that little in the tank for him, and the tank is really empty.
Yeah, I just and I will never doubt Tiger Woods. I just won't.
I won't either.
He's Tiger Woods.
Until he says no boss, never doing it again.
We have to keep bringing up the question, is there any way realistically that he can perform in these tournaments and ultimately win one? I'm not going to doubt him, but it seems like, and I know we've had some severe climbs for him in the past, right? He's had the knee injury, the back injury. We get all that, but this is a totally different deal, completely different.
And where he would have started, now I think he completely WD'd because of injury, because he was hurting so bad. But also this, Gabe, we don't want to see that red shirt and those black trousers out there being the first guy out on Sunday morning.
Right? No. You want to see him in contention.
We don't want to see it. Make it stop.
Yeah.
Howard Cosell in Muhammad Ali's last fight against Trevor Burbick, and it was sad to watch. And Cosell was screaming in the microphone, "Make this stop! In the names of all things holy, make this stop!" And I kind of felt like that Saturday for Tiger.
Brett, I'll ask you. You followed his career from start to finish, basically. Of all the rounds he's played in a major, that 79's probably his worst round of all time, right?
He may have had around that and maybe a little more at one year at the Open Championship in Scotland, where I don't know why they didn't stop it because of the wind. It had the flag sticks buckled over, hats flying off everywhere. I mean, you couldn't keep. I mean, I think Tiger finished with the hat turned around, but again, not trying to be cool, just to keep it on.
But for a relatively normal, and I know it was up and down, but a relatively normal weather weekend with the wind not blowing a crazy amount, not like that at least. This is one of the worst rounds of golf we've seen Tiger play, and I'm saying that knowing what he once was and where he's coming
all
from.
The factors, and it was sad to see. I was watching Saturday, and I said, no prayer he comes back tomorrow, and he shouldn't. They shouldn't let him. They shouldn't let him try it because you don't want 16 months of good work destroyed.
Yeah, no, and you have no chance.
Again, lucky to be alive,
and you have no chance also. After that 79, you have no chance. 21 strokes off the lead, right? You have no chance of putting yourself in a real money-making position. So, I understand that, but it is kind of depressing to think about the Masters. You thought he was going to come back. Okay, you knew it was going to be hard for him because of what the Masters and what Augusta National is as a walking course. You knew it was going to be tough. This week, I think everybody was relatively hopeful that he'd be around and at least be able to compete on Sunday. It just didn't work out that way.
Did not work out. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel, the NBA playoffs. They're red hot, and you can make every game feel like Game 7 at FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. Throughout the playoffs, all customers can place a no-sweat same-game parlay each week. You'll get up to $20 in free bets if you don't win. FanDuel, with so many ways to play, so many ways to win, and best of all, when you do win, you'll get paid faster than a fast break. If you're new to FanDuel, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code CASH to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Again, that's promo code CASH tonight. I like the Celtics, either the money line or laying the points. I like Al Horford over the points and over the rebound total for my same game parlay. Either way, you'll get up to $20 in free bets if your same-game parlay during the playoffs does not win. If you already have an account, you're all set to bet, no sweat. FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. Remember that promo code, it must be cash. Let them know that I sent you. It's got to be cash, must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max free bet, $20 per week. Restrictions do apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
We grab a timeout. When we come back, Heat versus Celtics. Game 4 in Boston. Heat took the 2-1 lead. I think a lot of people were surprised with that, especially considering Jimmy Butler was out that second half. But we have some injury news that we have to get to, and we'll break down what we think this series will be like going forward right here on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Bellyacre's motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the whole family. 2 great locations, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Overton Square hours Sunday through Thursday 11A to 9P, Friday and Saturday 11A to 10P. Regalia Sunday through Thursday 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef. Sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. The burgers, so good, like the Dare Ya or the Double Dare Ya, and the melt in your mouth. And you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. It is the quality brand the Bellyacres team has developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the city. The goal at Bellyacres, to become even more sustainable as they grow. In Overton Square and in Regalia, the very best quality available in Memphis, burger shakes and smiles at Bellyacres.
Here at Total Wine & More, you'll find what you love and love what you find, especially our totally low prices.
My friends and I are hanging out this weekend, and I'm on cooler duty.
Well, these seltzers and canned cocktails, they'll make you the king of the cooler.
Oh, that sounds good. Wow, I can fill my cooler without emptying my wallet?
Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Pickup and delivery available at TotalWine.com. Drink responsibly, B21.
Swerving, speeding, and reckless driving can leave you in your own dust. Drag racing has its consequences. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. So slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Hey Mid-South, this month buying a car is as easy as one and done. Call in here from DeSoto Auto Sales. Just visit one dealership, put just $1 down, and you're done. You could drive a nicer, newer car today. Even if buying a car has been hard in the past, we've got the one-and-done solution for every situation. Still owe on your current lease or loan? One and done. Payments too high? One and done. Nervous about past credit mishaps? One and done. Because my For the People credit approval process is the one to get it done. It's that easy. So ditch your old ride and drive a nicer, newer car for just $1 down. Only at my one and done sale. I'm Colin, and I'm your dealer for the people. See all the cars online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. That's DeSotoAutoSales.com.
Credit and $1 down require bank approval. Negative equity may be refinanced. Offer absolutely expires on May 31st, 2022.
Even though
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
Absolutely spectacular design, spared no expense.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
So on Saturday, the Heat somehow figure it out on the road without Jimmy Butler for the entire second half, and they beat the Celtics 109-103 to go up 2-1 in the series. But here's the deal for the Heat. They have everyone at least banged up going forward. Tyler Hero has officially been listed as out tonight, so they're going to have to get someone to step up in his place. That was Victor Oladipo the other night. We'll get to that in just a second. But everyone is banged up. Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry's healthier, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's healthier. But Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, Gabe Vincent, P.J. Tucker, all dealing with some sort of issue at this moment. And that's what you get this late in the playoffs. And with this series, how physical it's been, it really is the war of attrition for the Eastern Conference and who gets through.
Gabe, we've talked about how excruciating that it is watching Golden State roll through. And all of us are thinking, what could have been? I'm not going to do that come finals time because I don't think the Grizzlies matched up that great with Boston, or not great at all with Boston, and not very well with Miami. I'm about an injury and one more bad game, though, from either Boston and Miami before that becomes just as excruciating.
What do you mean? Explain that again.
The chance of the Grizzlies winning at all this year existed.
Yeah, yes. I get that.
I was going to be comforted a little bit by I thought anybody from the East
would win. Right.
Would win fairly easily. 4-1, 4-2. I'm not there anymore, and one more injury for either one of those teams. But we don't know that the Grizzlies wouldn't have had an injury in a game 4 against Dallas.
They had Ja out by the time the playoffs ended for them, so they were dealing with injuries of their own. Desmond Bane had his back coming up a little lame plenty of times during the playoffs this year. So yeah, there is that. But Marcus Smart for the Celtics too. I mean, he's been kind of dealing with stuff, and that's just how he plays. You know he's going to have something going on. But that ankle roll the other night was gnarly. I mean,
it really was.
It rolled and then got stepped on or landed on by Kyle Lowry in the process.
And Gabe, you know when that heals in about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
With time off of it.
You know what it is, though? You're in the playoffs. You're deep in this playoff run. It is pain tolerance. That's it.
Pain tolerance, a lot of electrodes, a lot of hot,
maybe a little shot before the game.
Maybe a little Toradol.
That's
I need a little Toradol right now just to get through the rest of this day. But remember, we're at the end of the biggest, longest, hardest push in the history of the NBA. When we joke about those guys going to Cancun or Cabo or wherever they go, there will be no more welcomed respite break from the NBA from the end of the NBA Finals to the start of next season, because really they haven't had any from when they resumed in the bubble. There's been very little time off.
Oh, it's been rough. Because Summer League comes before you know it. You have guys already back up working out and getting in team drills before you know it. There's been, I mean, it's been rough.
But to get these last 2 years in to save the enterprise.
Yeah, no, it's been solid. I think you're getting, obviously this Warriors-Mavs matchup leaves a lot to be desired, but you do have a Luka on that Mavs side. This Heat-Celtics matchup is fantastic. And last we had talked about it, I brought up Jimmy Butler scoring 41. He scored 29, I believe, in Game 2, and he's been leading them the whole way. He's got 5 40-point games in the playoffs. He's been that guy. And I called out Bam Adebayo. I said, Bam, you got to do something, man. You have to do something. And he heard the noise. 31 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, and 1 block. And also you have to highlight the fact on Saturday, Victor Oladipo, who's been like, shout out to him because he's dealt with some crazy injuries over the years, hasn't been able to be on the court as much as he wants to be. And I think, his time with the Pacers and even before that, like, he had the chance in his career to be a perennial all-star before all those injuries hit. So he's had to endure a lot. The other night when Jimmy Butler went out and they had to thrust him in that role defensively against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, he was great. 4 steals he ended up with, and he's the reason I believe in the end of the day they won that game.
I heard Brian Windhorst say earlier he thought whatever team won tonight wins this series. Well, if it's Miami up 3-1, that kind of speaks for itself. But he thinks even if Boston gets it back to 2-2 with Miami's home court advantage, they pull a Milwaukee and win this series like they did versus Milwaukee.
So I I don't know if I share the sentiment of whoever wins tonight wins the series, because a lot could happen. You go back to Miami, then you go back to Boston, then back to Miami for Game 7. And if it gets to a Game 7 and you're at home, I think I would probably favor the Heat just because they're at home. Now we'll see what injuries do between now and then. But tonight in particular, I think this is the Celtics' game to lose. They're 4-0 after a loss in the playoffs. They're way more healthy right this second than the Heat. There's going to be not as much bench scoring from the Heat tonight. Tyler Hero's going to be lost for this game. And you have Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, Gabe Vincent, PJ Tucker all have ailments at this moment. So
in Boston.
Yeah, and you're in Boston. This is the Celtics' game to lose. If they lose it, I certainly think the Heat would go on to win. But tonight, I think to say whoever wins tonight wins the series is a little skewed, considering this has to be the Celtics game. This has to be sort of a can't lose situation for them right this second. So, as Brian Windhorst, though, I got you. Now, let me tell you about your butt's favorite app. That's right, SeatGeek. The SeatGeek app is the best way to get tickets for live events, and I'll tell you one thing I really love about it is the variety. You can get Grizz Tiger tickets, no question. They got those. But there's a lot of things on there that you can go get. You want to go see a show at the Orpheum, they have them. A comedian, they have those tickets as well. Beale Street Music Festival, they have those as well. You want to go see a Redbirds game, they have those
Cardinal
as
tickets.
well. Cardinal tickets, they have everything you want on there. The variety is fantastic, and it's so beloved by butts everywhere because they've made it the highest rated ticketing app. SeatGeek rates every ticket from 0 to 10 to make sure you're getting a good deal. Green means good, and red means bad. And here's what I'm going to do to sweeten the deal for you. You can get $20 off your first purchase with promo code GABE56. That's GABE56 at SeatGeek.com or on the SeatGeek app. That's promo code GABE56, GABE56 for $20 off your first SeatGeek order. SeatGeek, get your seat in a seat. Download the app today. That'll do it for hour number 1. Hour number 2 is going to be chock full. We started with David Cobb, then get to Chris Gordy, and then Millennial Monday at the bottom.
Esquire magazine just declared this the era of the great steakhouse, and Memphis happens to boast one of the finest steakhouses in the country at 117 Prime. Perfect steaks cooked over seasoned hickory wood for the ultimate flavor. The experience doesn't stop with the great steaks. There's also the seafood towers. You heard that right, seafood towers with oysters, clams, lobster tails, tuna tartare, and crab claws. They're a stunning sight and a dining delight. Add in the sommelier curated wine list designed to complement the world-class steaks, and you have a meal to remember. You have 117 Prime.
The weather and the deals are heating up over at Gossett Kia Covington Pike, and we're ready to put you in a new ride today. Take your pick. 2022 Kia Forte LXS 39 MPG Highway, $219 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Or get 2022 Kia Soul LX $219 a month, $29.99 due at signing, both 36-month lease. And third row seating with 2022 Kia Sorrento LX $315 a month, 36-month lease, $34.99 due at signing. Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Come see Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month leases. Forte NE 483,548. MSRP 21,435. Soul N 78,33,273. MSRP 21,140. Sorrento NG 11,66,57. MSRP 31,290. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/22. Dealer stock only. Warranties a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Jamie's log. Progressive. The Harringtons' backyard. Day 11, 4:43 a.m. The tent I set up in the Harringtons' backyard to prove Progressive has 24/7 protection has a rip in it. But a little rain won't stop me. Mrs. Harrington said she totally understands 24/7 protection means 24/7. Gonna stay a few more days to make sure. It's hailing now. That's fun.
Progressive doesn't just offer a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection. Just not literally from Jamie. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood.
I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Oh, nothing but the best.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Hour 2 is upon us on a Monday on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe. He's Stats producing the program is Brian Dickens. AutoZone listener line 901-360-8255. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Hit up our text line and let us know your questions, your comments, your concerns. Also, you can message us on our socials, Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Without further ado, let's bring in David Cobb from CBS Sports at David W. Cobb on Twitter, covering college football and college basketball. David, what's happening, man?
Guys, not a lot. Not a lot. What's going on in your part of the world?
Not too much. Not too much. Has anybody ever told you resemble Will Zalatoris to a slight bit? Anybody?
I mean, I get it. The build. You know, we both drive the golf ball a really, really long way. We both have just phenomenal iron play. And, we both kind of could use some work from inside 10 feet on the green.
Yeah,
I think the difference between Will and I is that he plays on the PGA Tour, and I don't.
No, I got to say, you might be more muscle-bound than him, though, for sure. I mean, he's...
honestly, yes. Like, he is a
stringy,
frail, thin dude. Yeah, between him and JT, man, like, that pairing in the playoffs yesterday, that gave, 12-year-old me some hope. If 12-year-old me had seen those guys duking it out in a playoff, neither one of them weighing over $150, it would have inspired me to say, you know what, maybe I could be good at golf. But I get what you're saying, and JT too. I mean, he's our dimensions are very similar. You don't even realize on TV he's 5'10", 155, right. And dude just pummels a golf ball. So pretty wild.
Both of them about size 28 waist.
Yeah, I know. I can relate. Yeah.
You know what's funny, David? Brett asked
Billy Casper, they ain't.
Brett asked me going into Friday, when was the last time I wore a size 28 pant? I didn't have an answer for him. I don't remember. I might have been. I don't even know if I was in school yet. I don't know if I got to kindergarten when I was at 28.
Yeah, Gabe, you probably shopped at the Husky section.
Yeah, I did. Big and tall is what they call it. Big and tall. Hey, Husky has a negative connotation to it, though, David. Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't call me Husky. Now, I'm offended. I'm offended already on a Monday.
Hey, no. Now, back in the late 90s.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, you go through JCPenney, and they called it Husky. Nobody had a problem with it.
Well, we know the standards for political correctness always change, right? So I Husky, we have to move on from that. Big and tall, right?
All right. I'll
fair?
give you that.
Tell us about your Sunday yesterday, David Cobb.
Yeah, kind of on a whim, given where we are in the country right now, which is the northern panhandle of West Virginia.
Nice.
Oddly enough, we decided to go catch a Cardinals-Pirates matinee at PNC Park.
How about it?
First time I've ever been to that stadium, and yeah, it was just very much on a whim, and we went over there and happened to see a game in which Albert Pujols came off the bench and hit 2 home runs. And Yadier Molina ends up pitching the 9th inning, which I regret to say we had actually decided to go to the car at that point due to the fact that it was raining.
David.
I know. I know.
Brett got to see an inside the park home run earlier this year. You got to see Albert hit 2 and Yachty pitch. The game I went to in St. Louis there was nothing going on. I don't know if anybody had a hit until the 5th inning. Golly, you guys are getting lucky.
And David, the Clemente Bridge is being remodeled, painted, whatever. You didn't get to go across it, did you?
No, we did see it though, and like Sarah said, what's going on with that bridge? And I googled it and saw what you just mentioned, that it's undergoing renovation. But interestingly enough, we did drive past the Roberto Clemente Museum. We didn't go in, but we drove past it, and it looked like it was vibrant. It looked like there were tons of people going in there, and so it was fun to see that. And then it was funny, like when Albert came up to bat, the Cardinals have been playing their B team. Arenado was DHing. Let's see, Goldschmidt was not in the lineup. Right. Albert was on the bench. Yachty was on the bench. So like Tommy Edman was pretty much the biggest name of the 9 on the field for the Cardinals in that game. And then so when Albert comes up, it caught my attention real quick, because I had hoped to see him, and then I was kind of doing the mansplaining thing to Sarah to put in, to context the moment of why all the Cardinals fans behind the first base dugout were so excited about, this guy or whatever. And then, of course, right on cue, he hits a bomb. So yeah, I hate that you didn't get to see anything exciting when you were at the park, Gabe, but you really never know. Even an 18-4 random late Sunday morning baseball game can give you something memorable, and that was special.
I got a prediction. At the end of the year, if the Cardinals are not going to the postseason, and I think they will, I think they'll be 5th or 6th. But if they're not, if they're eliminated from the postseason, the last weekend at Busch Stadium or the last 2 or 3 games, we go full circle on Team Crazy. Adam Wainwright goes out and catches an inning.
Why not? Why not, right? Yeah, it's crazy seeing these guys back together. And the fun part is that they're winning. And so, you wonder how long they can sustain it. But they got enough other talent to where they're not, Yachty's catching less than he ever has before. And, Albert's very much just a spot player. So, Waino's carrying a big load for a man of his age. But, yeah, I would love to see him behind the dish. Let's reverse the battery and put Yachty on the mound and Wainwright behind.
That's a tall, lengthy guy to be catching. I got to be honest. That's a tall, lengthy guy behind the plate.
Like a big catcher for the Orioles now, Rutschman.
Yeah, Rutschman. But he's, he actually
but he's
catches.
a catcher.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Before we get into the whole SEC mumbo jumbo, the madness from the end of last week, how'd you like that ballpark though, as a whole? That's the only one in the NL Central I haven't been to.
Oh, Gabe. Okay. Oh, it's the best.
Yeah, the backdrop is special. Right. I mean, the skyline, being right there against the river. I guess on TV you don't really get an appreciation for the fact that it is right there on the river in the same way that the Giants Stadium is against the bay. You could take your kayak out there and do the same thing they do out in San Francisco. It's really that close to the river, and it was great. And the affordability factor of the Pirates. Now, this is obviously, I think, a product of the fact that they have not been all that successful in my lifetime. But we parked, got 2 tickets in the lower level, and did all that for $38. 2 tickets and parking, for under $40. Which, having been in Atlanta for several months and gone to a handful of Braves games, you can't get a single ticket for less than $40. And a lot of that is due to the fact that they just won a World Series. But, even last summer when we went to a game right around the trade deadline before they were even anything of significance, it's a little bit tougher to get in to Truist Park just from even on the secondary market, the tickets are just more expensive. So, yeah, a sub $40 outing between tickets and parking for two people, like at a beautiful ballpark, that really impressed me. So, I mean, not only is it a good backdrop, but I would say it's got to be among the best values in Major League Baseball.
Yeah,
and let me clarify. It's the best new park in the National League Central. The best ballpark in the National League Central, in the National League, and in all of baseball is Wrigley Field.
Oh, gosh. I want to say something. I'm going to hold my tongue, Brett. I'm going to hold my tongue. Just from a nostalgia standpoint, I'll give you Wrigley Field. I've been to Wrigley Field, though. I was not overly impressed. I'm sorry.
Have you been since all the money was spent on it? Concourses?
No, I have not.
Remodel?
I have not. That's fair. That's fair. But from a, there's better. I feel like there's better places to watch a ball game.
Oh, I don't think.
But let
so.
me keep that quiet. Let me keep that quiet. I might offend people in our listening audience. Yeah. Have they improved?
No Cub fan am I.
Have they improved the smell in there and all the?
I don't want them to. That's one thing I love.
It's pee. It smells like pee, Brett.
It was a mix of that and cigars and stale beer and maybe some other things.
And hot dogs. Just a great amalgamation of smells, right?
I thought it was great.
Yes.
It was sensory overload. But new Pittsburgh, that's not so new anymore, David. Heck, I went in 06. And that was the year they hosted the All-Star game. And I know this is truly, I mean, it might as well been, during the Roman Empire days. I lived at a time where kind of the first half of my life, well, not first half, the first third of my life, the Pirates were bigger in Pittsburgh than the Steelers were.
Come a long way.
That's hard to fathom. I mean, that's hard to fathom. Even just being in the region, you just feel that there's an extra level of intensity around the Steelers. And I feel like the Pirates are a sleeping giant because that town and that city, it feels like a really loyal place, a very sports-oriented place, a place that would embrace a winner. It's just the Pirates haven't won. So maybe if they were to get back into a place where they were successful, that could be the case again. But as things stand now, I mean, I believe you. I'm just saying that's crazy that was the case. Because, the Steelers are clearly the top dog.
David, it's like explaining to people just what a colossus. It was unbelievable to turn the TV on and see John Wooden's UCLA Bruins. And people just don't associate that with them now.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, you look at the Pirates, 3 playoff appearances in the last 25 years. But then you got the statue of Honus Wagner right outside the stadium. So that speaks to the history. Mm-hmm. And the Roberto Clemente era, obviously, is something that is held in.
I don't need a statue. I need about 10 of those cards. And we can all retire.
And you can retire, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. No joke. Yeah, y'all call me if you ever stumble on one of those.
Right, it's right by my Gutenberg Bible.
David, I would call you, but I'm gonna. I'd probably keep it for myself. If I stumbled across a few of them, maybe I'd give you a
whole
call.
pack of them.
Yeah, you just have to get in the auction like everybody else. No preferential treatment around here. But we're talking with David Cobb, covering college basketball and college football for CBS Sports. I guess we'll start with in college football. What did you make of all the madness between Jimbo and Nick Saban? And then Nick Saban made a statement about Deion Sanders. I think that's a fair question. Did anybody win in that situation?
Woo! That was injected some life into the college football offseason, huh? Man, last week took a turn for the, depending on your situation. I mean, in the online publishing industry, a turn for the better. I mean, that all that stuff we put out last week, my gosh, in terms of things that generate interest among college football fans in May, Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban in a war of words is going to be pretty high up there, about as high as you can go in terms of things that people are going to want to read about. So it was a busy day. Obviously, Saban's comments were made pretty late in the evening. And then the next day, I mean, by 10 a.m., right, Fisher was in front of the microphone at A&M going off. I mean, that's what I think stands out to me the most, was just the vigor and the intensity and the personal nature of what Jimbo said about his former boss, Nick Saban. And over the last few days, having seen all these videos people are putting out now of just a couple of years ago, Jimbo waiting in the wings underneath the stadium to congratulate Nick Saban on winning a national championship, and them sharing this moment like longtime friends and former colleagues might. And now where that relationship is just a few years later, it was something, and it's going to make that game this year so much fun, because last year's Texas A&M Alabama game was one of the best of the year in college football, and the build up to the game this year, it's going to be unreal, because that just put a lot of flame on top of a fire that was already pretty good when you consider the fact that the A&M is among those teams that are challenging Alabama now in the SEC West.
That they are, and that upset last year, it came late that night, and for most of that game, Alabama would either answer or even had control of it, and then poof, it was over, and A&M had sprung the upset, and Calzada had his college moment of all time, and Jimbo became the first assistant to slay the mighty mentor. I couldn't believe it happened then. There's no way I can believe Jimbo backs it up with winning in T-Town.
That would be truly remarkable, and I think we still need to see it from Texas A&M, because for all the talk about their number one recruiting class, for all the success Jimbo's had in recruiting even prior to this year, they still haven't done it on the field. The closest they've come to breaking through was being the first team out of the playoff during the COVID year. And, this is a coach who's being paid among the best in the sport, and his record is not all that much better than Kevin Sumlin's was through this point in Sumlin's tenure. And so there's this idea around Jimbo Fisher that he's a former national championship winning coach who's recruiting really well, and so that the college football playoff appearance is just an inevitable thing that's going to happen, only a matter of time before they reach that point. But when are we going to see it? Because you can recruit all you want, but until you start winning on the field, it's just going to be a lot of empty promises and empty recruiting rankings. So, I mean, that's kind of where things stand in my mind, because Alabama's bringing back Bryce Young, and we don't exactly know anything about who Texas A&M is going to try out there at quarterback. So there's just a lot of questions now. I mean, I think from the Texas A&M side of like, all right, you're in this war of words with Nick Saban, and you're talking a big game, and you're acting like a big program. You're acting like a national championship caliber program, but where are the results? And if Jimbo's an 8-4 or 9-3 type of coach again this year, they're going to start asking those questions around College Station too, because I guarantee you they could go out and hire somebody else with similar credentials who might be able to come in and do a little bit better job on the field.
So in sort of the back and forth with the Nick Saban comments at the end of last week were, is he complaining? Is he not complaining? What did you think about his whole diatribe? Yes, I know he came back and apologized for singling people out. Did you see what he was saying as a complaint, or do you think it was about where he was at, maybe trying to talk, but where he was at trying to talk to some of the movers and shakers in the state of Alabama to see if they may be more inclined, based on what he's saying, to donate to a collective or help out with NIL at Alabama?
Yeah, it's interesting. When Nick Saban speaks, you always try to find the deeper meaning. Well, as Jimbo Fisher put it, we put him up on a pedestal as if he's God. Mm-hmm. And therefore, anytime he speaks, we tend to believe that there's some deep interpretation to be had of his words, as though he's speaking in code almost, and we have to, we the humble underlings have to decipher the grand meaning of Nick Saban's words. And the fact is, he probably just isn't real happy about the fact that Texas A&M beat him at recruiting and got the number one class. That probably bothers him a little bit. And look, I mean, they're probably pushing the envelope. Texas A&M probably is on the NIL stuff. They're probably seeing this as an opportunity to use their immense financial network and immense financial resources from a booster standpoint to level the playing field and get on the same level as Alabama in recruiting and go after some guys that maybe wouldn't have considered them before. If you can wink, nudge, handshake deal, hey buddy, we'll get you $500,000 signed, 2 days after you step on campus.
Right.
Well, I don't know if that's technically breaking any rules if it's not in writing during the recruitment period. The assumption is that everyone's in some way using NIL as inducement. And it seems like Nick Saban just thinks that Texas A&M and some others are taking that too far, and maybe wants to see some more guidelines around it. So, the other thing too is I think that Nick Saban probably felt a little bit more secure poking at Deion Sanders and Jimbo Fisher in particular because of his relationship with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
If we were talking about somebody that Nick Saban had never worked with, does he come after Brian Kelly like that? I doubt it. But he and Jimbo were won a national title together at LSU and worked together for several years and know each other very well. He probably felt comfortable going after Jimbo, and Jimbo put him in his place. And then look, he and Deion do all those Aflac commercials.
Yeah, I wonder how that goes.
I mean, clearly they know each other pretty well, but it's interesting that he roped the Jackson State thing into that as well. So
did you find that a little bit? And I did. I said this last week when he made these comments. I found that a little bit distasteful. Yeah. I thought that because you talk about NIL and being paid to go to Jackson State, you have every single opportunity to do that with a guy like Travis Hunter. If you're Nick Saban and you're Alabama.
Yeah, and why is he going after them for getting a Florida State commit? In some ways, that helps that helps Nick Saban that the top ranked player in a recruiting class and one of the potentially the best prospects in college football in some time is deciding not to go to a big brand program. Right, that's one less hurdle for you to overcome potentially down the road. So I don't know. I mean, I don't really know why. Again, I think we might be reading too much into trying to decipher the grand meaning of Nick Saban's words. Right. Fact is, he was at the county fair with, Brian Harsin or whatever, or not Harsin, but Nate Oates. He was just, they're just sitting there asking questions, or taking questions, and he
from people that probably have money in that audience too.
And Nate Oates looked very uncomfortable.
He did look uncomfortable. So it would have been even funnier if that had been Brian Harsin there, but no, it was Nate Oates. Yeah.
David, I'm not going to use the G word. I don't think I like Nick Saban a lot, but I don't think he's a deity. Let's just say he's the biggest figure right now among the coaches in college football. Let's take him off the scene from college football. And tomorrow he turns in his resignation. I don't need this blank anymore. Y'all can have it. Who would be the biggest figure coaching-wise in the sport if Nick Saban left today?
I think it would be Kirby Smart.
Yep.
I think you're talking about the most recent national champion. And,
what do you think Dabo would say about that?
Yeah, look, I mean, we'll see. Look, Dabo's got
Hey, me too. Don't forget about mine.
Hey, and the potential is there for Lincoln Riley to grow into that role, if we're being honest.
Yep.
If Nick Saban retires and that leadership
position
opens up, yeah, sure. I mean, he's got a chance to become that guy. But, I mean, if you're talking about, do we really believe that over the next 5 to 7 years that Clemson's going to win more national titles in that span than Georgia? I don't. I think Georgia will win another one, maybe two, at least in that span. I think Clemson's going to have a hard time getting back to that mountaintop. I think Clemson's going to have a hard time getting back. I really do.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
The one thing we've missed in this whole thing is Lane Kiffin as a instigator. He's one of the
provocateur.
He is one of the better instigators in college football history. I think we can put him up there now. I mean, he's telling Jimbo, why are you letting him talk to you like that? And then as soon as Jimbo talks back, Nick, I can't believe the GOAT, you're letting him talk to you like that. You can't let Jimbo talk to you like that.
Dude, I love Lane. I feel like Lane is becoming his best self right now. I mean, you never know what's going on behind the scenes with that guy, but in terms of the face that he's putting forward to the public and just the performance of his program, I feel like Lane is absolutely the best version of himself that he's been since I've been following his career at this point.
Mm-hmm. David, you're in a great position professionally at CBS with your college football, big place that you have with on blast with college basketball. But if you had to go back, and you've done this, you've been the beat guy, and those are great positions to have, and you got to stay on top of everything. Exclude Tennessee since you've done it. What one of the current 13 in SEC would you like to be the beat guy for this year if you had to be?
LSU would be interesting because it's going to be such a cultural, just strange fit. Brian Kelly getting to understand and know the SEC for the first time and just seeing how that fan base responds to him and kind of seeing some of those rivalries start to develop with him and Jimbo and Saban and Kiffin and Leach. I mean, there's just so many good coaches in the SEC West. I think to follow the new guy around that circuit would be a lot of fun to see him try to adjust and find his way in the SEC. Somebody who's had so much success elsewhere, who is being closely watched and in some cases sort of made fun of for the way he's trying to fit in. So I would probably for this season, I would go the LSU beat. I think that would be a fun one to have for the upcoming season.
Although, and you brought it up earlier about Lincoln Riley possibly being at the top of the sport if Nick Saban were to step away. That's the thing that Brett posed to you. I think that would be very interesting to cover too, and to think about what they got last week too. While all this Nick Saban stuff was going on about NIL, you have Jordan Addison committing to USC. And I don't know the final tally of what he ended up getting. There were some people saying $3.5 million and a house in the hills. There's some people saying just $3 million, but he got something to end up going there. USC this year, though, you cover them closely. Got Caleb Williams, Jordan Addison now as a lead wide receiver. They have Travis Dye from Oregon on that offensive side of the ball as a running back. What do you think they can be in year one in the Pac-12 with Lincoln Riley? There's been a mixed bag on this too when I've asked this question.
Oh, it's the same with a lot of these first-year coaches. The ceiling and the floor are so wide. Like a lot of teams, you can kind of predict right now. You can sit here and say, yeah, they're going to finish with between 7 and 9 wins, and you're probably going to be right in a lot of those cases. Like I'll sit here and tell you right now, Mississippi State probably going to finish with between 6 and 8 regular season victories. Like I feel pretty confident saying that. USC, LSU, and some of the others with first-year coaches, the variance is vast. And I think the USC offense, because of some of those skill players that you name, is immediately going to be better under Lincoln Riley than it was last season under Clay Helton. The defense, though, is probably where I have more questions. The Pac-12 doesn't get enough credit for being kind of as tough as people. I don't think people think of it as a tough league. I think most folks east of the Mississippi, when they think of the Pac-12, they think of Reggie Bush and Marcus Mariota and high-flying offense to some degree. I don't think that's really what the Pac-12 is, and I think there could be some struggles for the USC defense, because of that. So you're talking about going up against a program like Utah that's pretty well established, and then honestly, like even teams like Stanford and Oregon State could get sneak up on them that none of us would look at on the schedule right now and think of as being dangerous whatsoever. So I don't know, man. I kind of think that the ceiling for them is winning the Pac-12 South and going to the Rose Bowl, but that's a lofty bar to clear in year one. So when you look at a schedule that has Notre Dame and UCLA and some of these other teams, it's like nobody jumps off at you and you say, oh, that's a definite loss. But at the end of the day, you're talking about a guy stepping into a new league and, with a lot of questions on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, I think the floor could be as low as 7-5. So again, it's a wide variance. You could be 7-5. You could be 11-1, and I wouldn't be shocked by either outcome.
Yeah, and that defense. I mean, that's the one thing that gives people reservations. They were generationally bad last year defensively in the Pac-12 that people don't understand. They had 440 yards per game, but gave up 31 points per game. So they put themselves in so many different bad situations defensively that they ended up going 4-8. I think it'll be better than that this year, but that defense has to improve and has to improve quick. And let's be honest, Lincoln Riley's strong suit at Oklahoma was never getting a defense right. I don't know if he necessarily knows the right guys on the defensive side of the ball to get that going.
No, I think you're exactly right about that. So it's a league that's in transition, so the opportunity is there when you think about Oregon and Washington also going through coaching transitions. I mean, the door is absolutely open, for USC to come in and do something special, right away.
Right.
That's why they're going to be one of the most – I think it's great for college football to see them in this position. They're going to make the West Coast relevant again. For how long, we'll see. But I think, we could be looking at a couple of really exciting games involving USC in November when they play UCLA and Notre Dame. If they can, get out of the gate decently well, there could be some significant football played by that team, in November.
For sure. But he is David Cobb at David W. Cobb from CBS Sports. David, appreciate it, man.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining us. David Cobb. Follow all of his work at CBSSports.com. Let's go ahead and get to a late break. When we come back, we have Chris Gordy join us from Sports Talk 790 in Houston and from the Locked On the SEC podcast.
You have opinions?
Yes.
Of course you do. Everyone does. Hit us up on the AutoZone listener line. 360-8255. 360-8255.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Memphis is synonymous with barbecue, and there's a place on Fox Plaza Drive that's been doing barbecue since 1922, Leonard's Pit Barbecue. Now, the place itself has undergone numerous changes since then, but the food has always remained the same. If you ate at Leonard's back in the day, you'll be glad to know it still tastes the same. Lunch every day of the week, catering for events. If you need barbecue, call the place that was first in Memphis, Leonard's Barbecue, on Fox Plaza Drive between Mount Moriah and South Mendenhall. Call 901-360-1963.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you're looking for more out of your battery? We can help. If you're in need of higher performance, we'd go with Duralast Platinum. It's the best choice for premium power design for your vehicle. And the line now includes EFB and AGM technology, which means we've got the right Duralast Platinum battery for you. And they're only available here at AutoZone. That's why we're America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2020.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commissions, sales leads, and a great place to work. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flinn.com. Start your career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Dad, come on, you're going to fall in the barbecue.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Back rolling Sports Time on Sports 56. Gabe and Stats with you. I'm Gabe, he's Stats. And joining us right this second, Chris Gordy, at Chris Gordy, obviously on air for Sports Talk 790 in Houston. And he does the Locked On the SEC podcast. Chris, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday to you. Now, I would assume you do the Locked On the SEC podcast. You haven't had much to talk about, huh, in the past week or so?
Yeah, I was joking with some people, in an otherwise kind of deader time. If you're into softball or you're into the baseball tournament in Hoover and all that, yeah, you're busy. But man, for the football Knicks, I mean, there's only so many times you can rank the quarterbacks for next season or run through my very early preseason rankings and all that. So yeah, it was nice to not only take the SEC world by storm, but the college football world by storm.
Chris, don't forget in the summertime rankings, don't forget the deep snappers.
Yeah, that's important. The kickers, the special team units, I like to clump them all together and rank them. But, Yeah, you're right. It's man, it really gets. There's only so many times you can do that. So, man, Jimbo and Saban going at it. Man, get your popcorn ready. I would. Can we have SEC Media Days next week?
Right, exactly.
Well, we're going to have Destin first, and that's a little more meat and potatoes and actual functionality and running of the league. What's one thing, if they would let you come in and make a case for something that can be done in the SEC and SEC football and be done easily, what's one thing Chris Gordy wants to see sorted out? Here's mine, 9 games SEC schedule.
Yeah, I think getting rid of the permanent crossover opponent. There were some schools where it means a lot. Georgia and Auburn, obviously, that one means a lot. Alabama, Tennessee, I'm told it means a lot still to those fan bases, even though I've got Tennessee friends who would rather, get kicked where the sun don't shine than have to put up with another Alabama beatdown again. LSU and Florida is a permanent crossover. It's a fun rivalry, but ask either of those teams if they want to keep playing each other. I'm sure Florida would love to have LSU off their schedule permanently, and LSU would love to have Florida off their schedule permanently. And then you got some of the weird ones, that just don't make a whole lot of sense. I think is an A&M South Carolina. I mean, there's some that just don't make any sense at all. So I would say get rid of the permanent crossovers, and I think that's going to come. If we end up with the 4-team, 4-pod system that is rumored out there with Texas and Oklahoma coming to the SEC, then that's going to alleviate it. For those who still want, we still have to have Alabama play Auburn, and we still have to have Auburn play Georgia and all this. Well, then I guess, okay, then make those permanent in how you situate the pods. But, I think the permanent crossover's got to go, and then, then we can figure out a fair scheduling. Because here's the thing, guys. My wife went to Kentucky. We went up to Lexington last year for the LSU-Kentucky game. LSU hadn't been to Lexington since 2007. I mean, it's insane, and we're going to add 2 more teams to this conference. I mean, you're literally talking about never going. There are some fan bases, A&M in Missouri. There are some places they still haven't been yet in this conference since they joined a decade ago. So we got to get more equal scheduling, and I'm with you, Brett. Like, if they go to 9, then at least you're getting more opportunity to visit those places.
Now, that was a hell of a game in 2007, LSU in Lexington against Kentucky.
Hey, it ended up not hurting LSU. They lost in triple overtime, and LSU still won a national championship. So my wife likes to bring that up to me all the time. Hey, we beat you in 2007. I always say, yeah, but LSU won the championship. So be it.
So there's always a ridiculous variance of answers when A&M comes up, and obviously Jimbo been in the news because of what he said in response to Nick Saban. And he got the number 1 recruiting class, and Texas A&M's pockets, when you look at the NIL era, almost deepest in college football. Where do you think A&M for years to come with this number 1 recruiting class with Jimbo Fisher at the helm, where do you think they fit in to the SEC picture?
I mean, they better start winning more than these 8-4 seasons that he's having. I mean, I know they went 9-1 in that COVID year and got left out of the playoff, which I thought was right. You get beat down by Alabama, and then they didn't even have many impressive wins that year.
Right.
I thought they barely got by a bad LSU team that year, and it was just a bunch of non-impressive wins. I think they've got to. Yeah, you got to put together this. You got to put together a complete season. You got to beat Alabama, which they did last year, but you got to put a complete package together. You can't beat Alabama and lose 4 other games. And I know losing their quarterback Haynes King early in the year to injury is, what hurt them. But man, you're stockpiling 5 stars on top of 5 stars at every spot. You don't get 3 years to get this thing going. It's got to start to happen immediately. So. Look, the schedule is going to be tougher for them this year, having to go to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama. Don't get me wrong, but we need to start seeing returns on dividends immediately for A&M. Now, the whole thing with NIL stuff is it's so many semantics we're arguing here.
Right.
I got A&M fans who keep saying we never paid anybody, and I'm going, look, I heard the interview in San Antonio today with Jimbo Fisher where he says we had 11 early enrollees in this recruiting class, and only one of them has an NIL deal. My follow-up question would have been, well, how many are going to have an NIL deal soon? How many were Garrett had a verbal wink, hint, hint? Yeah, we'll get you an NIL deal in the fall. To sell that he sold all these kids, all these 4-5 stars, a historic recruiting class, that he sold them on College Station and his vision and his plan is ludicrous.
Right.
I mean, yeah, two 5 stars, sure. Okay, great. You sold it. But, to get all these kids that they got, no, man, just admit what was going on. And for Jimbo, I know the rule is supposed to be NIL wasn't a part of recruit, so you're not supposed to use it to entice recruiting. But it's okay to say, hey, man, we got a great recruiting class, and we got a great group of boosters and community that are going to take care of these kids, and we're looking forward to that. I think that's fair to say. But this whole deny thing is absolutely ludicrous because I'm going, what are you selling that Kirby Smart can't sell, or Nick Saban, or even Brian Kelly? I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous, and we all know what the deal is. But I guess because it's a rule, you can't come right out and say what it is.
Well, everyone has an NIL collective that's very visible to the public that they probably have to release records on. I'm sure that's a selling point. Now, does that mean you're going to get money out of the collective? Not necessarily, but I think in recruiting that would be a good selling point. I agree with you. I thought he should have leaned into it as much as possible and made it clear that he's within his right to go do that. Now, one thing I have noticed through this whole process is Jimbo Fisher, for all he's done in college football, for winning a national championship, I feel like reputationally he doesn't get treated that way.
Yeah, it's a weird one, right? Because I had somebody bring this up recently. They said, Jimbo broke through at Florida State, but look at what it took. It took Bobby Bowden handing him the keys to the Ferrari, had a ridiculous recruiting class, had Jameis Winston, who ended up winning the Heisman Trophy, and I believe all 22 starters from that Florida State team ended up getting drafted on offense and defense. So it took that for him to finally break through. And by the way, I think he needed a late rally against Auburn or against Oregon to come back and win that game. So whatever the case is, he's got the championship, but it's still, I think we're all still kind of hesitant on Jimbo because he had a lot of down years at Florida State. He's had a lot of just average years since he's come to A&M, being one of the highest paid coaches in all of college football. I'm not saying he's not a good coach, but is he elite of elite? I laugh when I see this college football rankings come out or coaching rankings come out, and they got Jimbo top 5 every year. And I'm going, is he a top 5 coach? Like, if we're going all across college football, like, would you rather Jimbo over Ryan Day? And I know Ryan Day hasn't broken through and won one yet, but I feel like I'd take a flyer on Ryan Day to win one before Jimbo. And I just think you're playing in the SEC West, which is the toughest division out there of any conference out there. Jimbo may be a very good coach. Look, you guys know this conference eats you alive. Sam Pittman's one of my favorite coaches out there. He may never win at Arkansas just because it's a tough conference. The SEC's hard to win in. So I'm a little hesitant. If Jimbo can break through this year, let's say they beat Alabama, they win the SEC West, he gets to Atlanta. Man, it's still, even getting to Atlanta isn't enough. I still feel like you got to win the SEC. You got to get to the playoff for me to elevate you and say you're one of the best out there.
Well said, Chris. And there are coaches at their opening press conference, no matter how bad the job is the day they take it, like Nick Saban when he took it over from Mike Shula. Nick Saban was hired to win national championships. Brian Kelly is hired to win a national championship. Kirby Smart was hired to win one, and he's now won one. Jimbo Fisher got hired to win a national championship, not go to the Poulan Bowl.
You're right, but here's the thing with that Aggie fan base. I mean, they've been little brother for so many years. In the Big 12, they were always little brother to Texas, and the Longhorns broke through, and they won their championship with Mac Brown and Vince Young. And I only know this because Longhorn Network replays that game about every 24 hours because it's the only thing they have to live on in Texas. But they were little brother. They broke away in 2012. They come to the SEC. They're like, man, we are just happy to be in the SEC. And I remember my first game going up there, and they're all howdy, and they're all waving at you, and they're just happy to be there. And I'm going, man, this fan base, like, no, yell Tiger bait. Say something like you're supposed to be a rabid fan base here. And, they were just all so kind and so nice and just happy to be there. And I think that's kind of generated to the fans and to the product on the field. The Aggies under Kevin Sumlin for all those years were happy going to 7-5 and, having Johnny Manziel win the Heisman and having some entertaining football. But, hey, man, we're just happy to be there. No, I mean, I think that the attitude is finally starting to change there. Where they're going,
so
man,
true.
We got to break through. We got to win something here.
So true, Chris. I mean, heck with all that waving at the bus leaving. Flip us off like they do in Baton Rouge.
Well, but isn't there that feeling with both of you guys? The soundbite that Jimbo had the other day, how sort of confrontational he's been with other guys in the SEC. I feel like that's played well to that fan base.
Yeah, it has. And by the way, I thought it was hilarious. He loves conflict and he welcomes it. Well, did you answer Nick Saban's call? No, I didn't answer his call. Come on, I thought you welcomed conflict. But no, I mean, the point being with the Aggie fans, like they've always been like they're hungry, they want the best, and they're willing to write checks for it. You know, even their message boards, when we talk about the generation of message boards, TexAg is one of the biggest message boards out there. They offer a subscription service right now where you can become a VIP elite member, and part of that money goes to a collective to pay recruit or pay student athletes for NIL deals. So,
right.
I mean, they're that hungry. They are willing to cut the checks to win a championship. And so, yeah, the NIL is absolutely working in A&M's favor, but, man, they have to start to put some skins on the wall and break through. If not, you're sitting there going, what are we paying this guy $10 million a year for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree completely. But he is Chris Gordy, at Chris Gordy on Twitter, co-host for Sports Talk 790 in Houston. And also he hosts the Locked On SEC podcast. Chris, appreciate it, man, as always.
Absolutely, guys, anytime. And, man, let's get some more barbs thrown. I heard Dan Patrick canceled Lane Kiffin interview last week because Greg Sankey told him to. Man, but Lane Kiffin needs a microphone in front of his face 24 hours a day.
100%. Best instigator in the league. Best instigator in the league by far.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you, Chris.
Second hour of our show is brought to you by our good friends at the Big Green Egg. And I always talk about in sports and with grilling, the best ability that you could have is your availability. And the Big Green Egg is the last grill you'll ever have to buy, so it'll always be available to you. Folks have had their grills for 30-plus years, 10, 20, 30-plus. They've had them forever. If you have a Big Green Egg, you know that it's built to last. And the reason that is highest quality ceramic. It allows for heat retention, does a good job with that, but also it doesn't rust. It doesn't rust at all. You get some of those gas grills made out of metal. The elements get to it. The rain gets to it. It starts to rust. This won't do that. And also, it comes with a lifetime warranty. You have a part that goes bad. It breaks. Guess what you do? You send it into the Big Green Egg. They send you a brand new one back. You attach it. You get going. It's that simple. And the flavor's going to be fantastic. 100% natural lump wood charcoal grill that you can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill on. You can smoke some ribs for hours on the back porch. You can just sear off some burgers. It could take about 15 minutes. You can do whatever you want on it. And it comes in 7 different sizes. They have a size and a price point for everyone. And if you want to find it around the area, it's at these retailers: Garden Spas and Pool, Germantown Hardware, Hamilton's Fireplace and Grills, and then East Memphis Ace and Cordova Ace Hardware. So if you're looking for a do-it-all, reliable, long-lasting grill at a great price point, look no further than the Big Green Egg. Now let's go ahead and get to our final break of hour number 2. When we come back, you know what we do on this show. We bring the generations together. When we come back, it's time for Millennial Monday.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, everybody. Greg Gaston for FanDuel. Add a little excitement to your sports watching experience by betting on all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There's a reason why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Their app is simple to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets, unique fun bet types like same-game parlays, and exclusive always-on promotions such as enhanced odds boosts on the biggest events to let you get more action out of every game day. And if you win, they even get you your winnings safely in as little as 24 hours. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started, and be sure to sign up with promo code GASMAN so they know I sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code GASMAN. Must be 21 or over and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit is required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
Hey, I got one of my best customers, Mark, here. Hey, Montana.
Hey, Mark, tell Sports 56 fans the deal of the century that I gave you at Sleep Cheap.
Yeah, I just bought the whole family some new mattresses. Our backs thank you. These are professional people to work with, good quality mattresses and box springs, and they under-promised and over-delivered. We got the Sports 56 deal, the hybrid mattress and box springs regularly $1,000 for $599, and the wife and I got the king-size mattress normally $1,500 for $999.
Mark, it was a pleasure working with you. Glad you and your family are happy with the quality of our memory foam. Now I'm extending this manager's suite deal to my fellow Sports 56 fans. Check out our 3 locations, 6330 Winchester, Memphis, 1069 Goodman Road in Horn Lake, and West Memphis, 1701 North Missouri Street. Also wanted to let you know Sleep Cheap mattress sets starting at $199 to $4,000. We have twin XLs, queen, king, California king, we got it all. And again, guys, take advantage of this sweet Sports 56 hybrid mattress queen box deal. Normally $1,000, we got it for $599. We also have the king, normally $1,500, selling for $999. See y'all at Sleep Cheap.
Here at Total Wine & More, you'll find what you love and love what you find, especially our totally low prices.
My friends and I are hanging out this weekend, and I'm on cooler duty.
Well, these seltzers and canned cocktails, they'll make you the king of the cooler.
Oh, that sounds good. Wow, I can fill my cooler without emptying my wallet?
Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Pickup and delivery available at TotalWine.com. Drink responsibly, B21.
Are you ready for the Take It On sales event at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike? Take on high gas prices with 41 mpg highway in your new 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage G4, $259 a month, or buy for $17,885. Looking for the perfect road trip ride? Take on 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $359 a month, or buy for $25,285. Plus, award-winning redesigned 2022 Outlander, Seat 7, $369 a month, or $29,005. And get the stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 72 months at 3.9. Outlander NZO 68336, MSRP 29505. Sport NU 009708, MSRP 26035. G4 NHFO 5848, MSRP 18385. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Belly Acres' motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the whole family. 2 great locations, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Overton Square hours Sunday through Thursday 11A to 9P, Friday and Saturday 11A to 10P. Regalia Sunday through Thursday 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef. Sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. The burgers, so good, like the Daria or the Double Daria, and the melt in your mouth. And you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. It is the quality brand the Belly Acres team has developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the city. The goal at Belly Acres, to become even more sustainable as they grow. In Overton Square and in Regalia, the very best quality available in Memphis, burger shakes and smiles at Belly Acres.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
How do you want that cooked? Run to a crisp or bloody as hell?
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Back in on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe, he's Stats. And I'll tell you one thing we do on this show that is unique to this show. We always bring together the generations. Millennial Monday, bringing them together on Way Back Wednesday, but it's a Monday, so you know what that means.
Milk was a bad choice.
I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. Backstreet's back. All right.
Now it's time for a breakdown.
All right. So, I tested these before the show. 48-year-old, not going to name names. Don't need to name names. 3 out of 5. So these are, I don't know if they're toned down. I don't know if he's just a tad bit younger, so he knew more, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll start with number 1. Are you familiar with Adam Sandler and his work, Brett?
I'm loosely familiar with Adam Sandler, and other than, I think, Something About Mary, that's all the work I know.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see how you do here. What Adam Sandler movie features Adam Sandler's character Billy going back to school to retake every grade in an effort to prove to his millionaire father that he is ready to take over the family business?
I have no clue. Never been to it.
It's Billy Madison. Billy Madison's one of the great. I mean, he starts in kindergarten and goes all the way back up, and he's like a 30-year-old man at that time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hilarious movie. I mean, it's a little much. It's a little much. It's what you'd think in an Adam Sandler film.
Yeah, it is.
The zipper scene's about the only Adam Sandler thing I got in Something About Mary.
Well, Happy Gilmore, The Waterboy.
Never seen it.
Really?
Neither. You've never seen Happy Gilmore.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
No.
That's a golf movie.
I know.
It's a hockey movie. Then it's a golf movie.
Come on.
No.
That's insane. That actually does kind of throw me for
That, it throws me off.
I figured
Now,
you'd watch the one golf movie. You got to watch the one golf movie.
He also was in the movie where like he was meticulous, like every day making his bed and putting the pillows back on it, and somebody just threw them all off and said, "You're wasting time every day." That was one of his movies, wasn't it?
I have no idea what movie.
Maybe.
Was that. He was in 50 First Dates, so he was.
Because I feel like it every
He had
morning
to
when I make my bed, putting those dang pillows back on there every time.
You ever heard of 50 First Dates?
Never use them.
You ever heard of 50 First Dates, Brett?
No.
He convinced a woman that had short-term memory loss every day that they were dating. It was very uncomfortable.
That
Like
is
when you really
uncomfortable.
think about
Wow.
when you think about the thought process behind that movie,
It's a little uncomfortable.
it's a little much. It's
Question
a little
two.
much. Question 2. What music festival is held in Indio, California at the Empire Polo Club? A.
Bonnaroo.
Wait, hold up. Let's not give him let's give him his chances.
Yeah,
first.
it's a
Let's
multiple
give him his
choice
chances.
question. You
Oh,
shouldn't
okay,
have
I'm
jumped
sorry.
out.
Indio, California at the Empire Polo Club. A. Coachella. B. Burning Man. C. Churning Man. D. Lollapalooza.
Coachella.
There you go, Coachella.
Would you
Coachella.
believe in 1995 I was the designated driver for people to go to Lollapalooza outside of Atlanta?
Lollapalooza
Really?
outside of Lolla's in Chicago now, isn't it?
We went to a
Lollapalooza.
music festival outside of Atlanta. I thought
Sweetwater
it was
Fest
Lollapalooza.
is in Atlanta. There's a lot of different things in Atlanta. But Lolla
Did
is in Chicago.
Lollapalooza not bounce
Chicago.
around town?
I have
Or
no-
bounce
It
around
might
the
have.
country
Let's
at one
look it up.
time?
I thought Lolla was in Chicago. I
See
thought
if
was
it
just
wasn't
stuck
in
there.
Atlanta in 95.
But
right?
Coachella, it's a chance for all those people out in L.A., those influencers, to get their outfits
Yes.
off.
1 for 2.
And go watch Doja Cat. You know Doja Cat, Brett?
No.
Oh, well.
I know Dogecoin.
That's a shame that you don't know Doja Cat. Love Doja Cat. Number 3. All right, there's multiple meanings for this. I just want one. What does the slang term lit mean? L-I-T. What does the slang term lit mean? It has multiple meanings.
Kind of hot, on fire, hip.
That'll do.
Yeah,
I said cool, awesome. Also,
Yeah.
it could be described to be you're
Drunk.
inebriated or drunk.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there we go. There
To
we
get
go.
lit, yeah.
2 for 3. Look at this, Brett. Impressive so far. Impressive. Now, number 4. What 1990s, early 2000s? And this is a multiple choice, so you don't have to blurt. What 1990s, early 2000s cartoon featured a character commonly referred to as Football Head? A. Hey Arnold. B. Rocket Power. C. Cat Dog. A. Hey Arnold. B. Rocket Power. C. Cat Dog. We're looking for a character commonly referred to as Football Head.
Total guess. B.
It's Hey Arnold. Hey Arnold came out in 1996. Arnold was the main
great
character,
show.
and
Heard of it till today.
his head was shaped as a football, and his crush always called him Helga Pataki always called him Football Head. So there's that. And
Big
now I
fifth
think they're
question
playing
coming.
it. They're playing it
Are they?
somewhere on it's on one of the streaming services. Hey Arnold.
Oh, I'm sure Paramount. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Now, last one. This should be easy if you know anything about MTV in the early 2000s. What MTV show featured celebrities showing off their lavish houses?
Cribs.
There
Very
we
nice,
go.
Brett. Very nice.
Was that 3 for 5 today?
Wow.
Yes,
good
sir.
job, Brett.
That's
I'm
that's
impressed.
best
Wow.
to date. I am thoroughly
proud.
impressed. And by the way, did you ever watch Cribs? You ever seen an episode of Cribs?
I think I did.
How come
yeah.
every time they went into their bedroom, they had to say, "This is where the magic happens"?
Well,
Not
Every
everybody's
time.
magic happens right there.
It was
Come on.
also like on either VH1 or MTV when they would do Behind the Music. It would always be the perfunctory man when they hit the drugs rut.
Some of those cribs, though, some of the MTV Cribs episodes were a little much.
Mm-hmm. What was the band that one of the guys snorted ants?
What?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. That could have been anybody in the 90s. That's some
really.
grunge band somewhere.
Yeah.
Probably multiple sniffing ants. Come on.
Yeah, come on now.
Wait, honestly, we're going to have to look that up at the break. Now I'm very,
already
very
looking
curious.
it up.
I've been out there, but snorting ants ain't my bag.
Motley Crue.
Motley Crue?
Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Okay, a little bit before. That was 80s.
Yeah,
That was
84.
80s. Yeah, that was 80s. So there's that.
What a weekend.
Motley Crue. Yeah. What do you have to do to get in the headspace to... Never mind.
A lot.
It was
Let's not ask
Ozzy,
that.
actually.
Ozzy? Well,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Well, of course he did.
That makes a lot of sense. Let's go ahead and get to a break on that note. When we come back, we talk with the Michael Cole from the Grizzlies beat from the commercial booth.
In the alley since 1948, Mr. Charlie Virgo's world-famous Rendezvous. John, you and your family continue the great work at the Rendezvous. Next year will be the 75th birthday party. Let's start the party now.
Brett, there are so many visitors in town to watch the emerging Grizzlies and to see our great sights and sounds in Memphis. I see them all the time at the restaurant. I want them to know Memphis is a great foodie town. There are so many family-owned, locally owned great restaurants that have stood the test of time. I won't mention all because the list is too long and I don't want to leave anybody out, but I will mention Jim's Place Grill because my cousins own it. It's a great restaurant and they've stood the test of time, and they are this year celebrating their 100th anniversary. And of course, any visitor that comes to Memphis needs to eat barbecue. And I've said this before, there's great barbecue all over Memphis. I know because I eat it. But if you just have one night to eat barbecue in Memphis, it should be the Rendezvous. It's such a special place with a special staff. And by the way, next year we will be celebrating our 75th anniversary.
The world-famous Rendezvous, serving Memphis in the Mid-South and with the shipping, serving the world.
It's time to vacation at home with Family Leisure. That's right. Enjoy a vacation in your own backyard with a little help from Family Leisure. Like play gyms and trampolines, they're now $500 off. And those trampolines, by the way, they've got that mesh on the side, so trampolines are now safe and you'll be the hit of the neighborhood. They've got hot tubs in stock and ready to go, and you can get up to $1,000 off when you pick them up. All kinds of do-it-yourself pool specials, like savings of up to $1,500 on all in-stock pools when you pick it up and install them yourself. And if you're looking for patio furniture, then stop on in because they have tons in stock and they're ready for you to pick up. So get ready for that vacation at home with the help from Family Leisure. Family Leisure's Vacation at Home sale. It's happening right now at Witten Road and I-40, where family and fun truly do come together.
We're starting the holiday early at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike with our big-time Memorial Day sales event. Great things come in threes, so take your pick from 2022 Dodge Charger or 2022 Jeep Cherokee Latitude or 2022 Chrysler 300 Touring. We Gossett $469 a month and get workhorse ready in 2022 Ram 1500 Tradesman $489 a month or $35,860. 2022 Dodge Charger, 2022 Jeep Cherokee Latitude, 2022 Chrysler 300 Touring $469 a month, 2022 Ram 1500 Tradesman $489 a month. Plus, trade up and get more for your ride at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. Drive past the rest and come to the best or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Charger Cherokee 1575 at 4.11, 3,500 down. Must finance through Chrysler. 372 months at 2.9, 1,500. NS 148 243. MSRP 39,110. Charger NH 138807. MSRP 35,485. Cherokee ND 512,209. MSRP 35,735. 300 NH 11192. MSRP 37,135. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/22. Dealer stock only.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand bottled, taste tested, sent to a few friends, then taste tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around, Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Make them drive the car. Make them touch it. Feel it.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Yeah. 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 I fantasize about
Hour 3 is upon us on Sports Time on Sports 56. Gabe Kuhn, Brett Stats Norsworthy with you. I'm Gabe, the stats producer of the program. Of course, is Bryant Davis. And joining us via the AutoZone listener line is DeMichael Cole at DeMichael C on Twitter, of course, covering the Grizzlies for the Commercial Appeal. DeMichael, what's happening, man? How was your weekend?
What's going on, guys? Everything's well, man. No complaints, enjoying the off season.
Yeah, a little slow down this past week.
Yeah, for sure. Not as much as probably some other people. I'm still, doing some work right now, but yeah, I'm about to go full-fledged vacation real soon.
I hear that.
Completely off the grid. You deserve that, DeMichael, because it was a whirlwind. Have you found yourself watching these games as best you can, separate yourself as just journalists, but also the hometown pride I know you have in the Grizzlies? It's been excruciating for me. It's been hard to watch, and I'm afraid now even the finals will be hard, because at one time I didn't think there was a window for the Grizzlies to beat Boston or Miami. I do now.
It looks like that, right? But it's you saw John Morant kind of quote tweet the tweet about the Grizzlies, and you're watching how the Warriors are just having their way with the Mavericks. I mean, it goes through the back of your mind, like, man, what if this broke our way, or what if we were healthy, or what if those thoughts do cross your mind. So I definitely can see why Grizzlies fans kind of had that thought, because I mean we talked about it last week. They didn't have the regular season starting lineup at any part in that series, and the Grizzlies led more minutes in that series. And you're watching how they're just having their way with Dallas, and Dallas kind of caught some breaks too. I don't know how real those Chris Paul injury things are, but there were reporters who are usually pretty accurate saying that Chris Paul was dealing with an injury, and if he was, you could pretty much tell because he was very limited. So some things broke Dallas' way, which so happened to end up breaking the Warriors' way. So just imagine if, the Grizzlies win that series and you get Dallas, who is good, but kind of revolves around one player, dominating the basketball. Yeah. Grizzlies could probably would have had a nice pathway to the finals if they get past the Warriors.
Yeah, and I hate to be this guy about a CP3 playoff injury, but of course he was. Of course he was injured. I mean, of course he was.
Yeah.
That's it. We've come accustomed to that.
Yep, exactly.
Now, the one thing over the weekend that really makes it a salty feeling, Ja Morant had a video of him dunking wherever he was. I believe he was at some type of outing. It looks like he would have been healthy for a series if they would have outlasted the Warriors.
Yeah, one of the things that he said in his exit interview was if it got to Game 7 against the Warriors, if it got to Game 7, he would have tried to give it a go. I don't know how realistic that would have been, considering he was doubtful. But when I heard him say that, I kind of had the idea at the end that, oh yeah, he's closer than a lot of people thought, because what we heard was doubtful for the playoffs. And when you hear doubtful for the playoffs, you're thinking even if they play into June, he, going to be doubtful. But as it turned out, I mean, you look at that video, he looked good, even if he wasn't 100%. I mean, it was a smaller, probably 8-foot rim and all of that. So maybe there was that to it as well. But overall, I mean, I think that's kind of like the buzzkill part of it too, right? Like, Ja, if you get to that Game 7, even if you get Ja playing, 25 minutes, clearly we saw in those last two losses, the main time you needed him was that fourth quarter.
DeMichael, before you answer this, if you want to pass on it, please do, because I don't want you to get in trouble naming names. And because I think it's overdone when somebody says they wanted it more than the other team, or this player worked so much harder than that player. They all work hard and they all care. But do you, with that framing the question, is there a Grizzlies player you think that's sitting wherever he's sitting today, whether it's a fashionable Cabo Cabana or at their home or wherever they deserve to be in the offseason, who do you think it's just killing them more than any other team, any other player on the team that they're not still playing?
Man, it's hard to say, because I feel like, a lot of different guys. I mean, Ja, for one, sitting there and not being able to, have an impact in those last couple losses in those fourth quarters. I feel like that was kind of, draining for him. Dylan Brooks, he was very remorseful about the suspension, and it basically, it was a 1-game suspension, but it took him out for 2 games, basically. So, you also have, that factor as well. And then, maybe even Taylor Jenkins thinking, did he go to Steven Adams 1 game too late? He had him in that, in the first game where they were blew out, and, he doesn't put him in until, the garbage time of the fourth quarter. It's just so many little breaks where it's hard to pinpoint, just like one player.
Desmond Bain.
Yeah, and then Desmond Bain is another big one. I mean, I felt like in no way that Desmond Bain deserves any blame, but hearing him talking after that last game, and he basically was talking about how, going forward, he prides himself on not being hurt, and he wants to be able to withstand. It sounded almost like he felt like he kind of let the team down in a way that his back, ended up having the soreness problems. And it's like, you can't control those things sometimes. And he was so consistent and good throughout the year. So, yeah, that's another guy. I mean, it's a lot of little small factors, in there. Maybe even a DeAnthony Melton, he was playing so good at the end of the regular season, and he kind of got phased out of that last series, and he had a role in the Warriors series. But, they even as much of a role he had in the Warriors series, you probably wanted even more from him, considering, what was happening with Ja Morant and Dylan Brooks with the rotation just being shorter. So it's so many guys that you can point to that really, it leaves a little sour taste in their mouth.
Yeah, and with that team, how they were playing together, how much they seem to just enjoy to be around each other, that it's not going to be the same team going forward as it is off-season.
This is a good thing, though.
Yes, I think it's good scar tissue, no question. But I think all those guys are hurting badly to see what's going on right now. The Mavs just seemingly have no shot. You think if you got into a 7-game series with that Mavs team, you could come out on top and be the representative for the Western Conference. Now, over the weekend. We had the first team all defense, second team all defense come out. Jaren Jackson Jr. is on that list, and I know a lot of people were talking about him possibly, and Ja, of course, was talking about him possibly for Defensive Player of the Year. I feel like this should be viewed as a overwhelming positive because this now gives, I think, Jaren Jackson Jr. the opportunity going in to next year and the year after that. He has that reputation now to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep, exactly. And that's what kind of, I think, it's been a couple cases of this in the past. You look at guys like Matisse Thybulle kind of had to earn his rep. Mikal Bridges, I think there was a lot of, campaigning for him a couple seasons ago. And then this year, his profile kind of just, went up big. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. is firmly in that conversation now. I mean, he just got first team all defense. Everyone knows who he is. Everyone knows what he's capable of. And now when you talk about next season, people are going to know what to expect from him. And when he does produce, the way he does this season, the way he did this season, he'll have a good campaign going for him.
Yeah, because you just have to, it feels like, for that Defensive Player of the Year award in particular, you have to be on their radar going into the season. You can't sort of come along and then just randomly win it. It's Giannis, Rudy Gobert, Marcus Smart, Mikal Bridges to a certain extent now. It's those type of guys that at the beginning of the year they'll be in the race.
Yeah, because it's the thing about the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. I know, Gabe, I always use some examples that you can relate to, but I feel like it's the most, in a way, it relates to how we view offensive linemen because outside of what pancakes and sacks allowed and all these stats, you really
very
can't.
True.
Yeah, you can't. You have no idea how to quantify those things unless you're just watching the film of what they're doing on a game by game basis. That's why in the NFL you see a center like Jeff Saturday, who pretty much was automatically Pro Bowl a lot of seasons, or Corey Linsley now.
Yep.
You see the same guys every single season, and then you see, a big rookie who has a big year, and then he gets on the radar, and then he starts to become a regular, all-pro offensive guard or all Pro Bowl offensive lineman. I feel like it's the same way with defenders because with big men, you have the blocks and things like that. But with guys like Marcus Smart and Mikal Bridges, and even with Jaren Jackson to a degree, you can't. It's hard to quantify what Jaren Jackson does outside of the blocks when he's guarding those shifty guys on the perimeter, when he's matched up against DeMar DeRozan and matchups like that. Those are the things that we see a lot. But as far as the national media and the conversation, when you I've been on a lot of these voting panels in the past where you vote for player of the years and things like that. And the first thing you're going to do is look at the numbers. Mm-hmm. That's just so much harder to do with defensive players,
But I feel like I'm sorry to cut you off, but I feel like the past few years we've been stuck in this. We've been stuck in this conversation with Defensive Player of the Year where it's either reputation or the stats because Rudy Gobert has won 3 times at this point. Giannis Antetokounmpo, even though at times he falls short of being able to switch and defend against shifty guys on the perimeter, he falls short a little bit there.
Right.
I feel like this year was with Marcus Smart winning the whole thing, and obviously he's the ringleader of that defense, even though they have really good defensive players on the Celtics. Mm-hmm. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown can do that. Al Horford's even pretty good.
Yeah, the whole lineup.
It feels like this year was a shift away from a statistic-based award, and they went straight reputation almost.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of being pushed as well. I mean,
people were up in arms about Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, I think people. It's like what do they call it? Voter fatigue.
Yeah,
I think it was voter fatigue with Rudy Gobert there, and you saw people trying to pick apart, his play against guards in space. And actually, I looked at his numbers. He kind of holds his own, but you just historically speaking, it's a narrative, because he's so good inside, and they don't allow him to, be on the perimeter that much. I guess that's the narrative against him, where you have guys, other guys who are more switchable, like Jaren Jackson, like Bam Adebayo, like a Draymond Green. So they kind of try to, use that against him in a way. So it's that Defensive Player of the Year thing. It's definitely some stats in it, but I think it's kind of trending more with reputation, as we saw Marcus Smart. He has the reputation. He's always been known as a good defender. But this year, I mean, him just being, I feel like, the best defender on the best team kind of helped him too.
DeMichael, early in the playoffs, Gabe and I had a debate that he is resoundingly won. I yield. I give my concession speech. I said it was last dance for Golden State, and he said, no. It's kind of maybe that last best act, like popping the Spurs really came out of after the Grizzlies bounced them in 2011. I heard this morning some making the case for the next great Golden State dynasty, whether it is or isn't a real dynastic run. I'd sign up right now, 1 year from now, even as the 2 seed, without home court advantage. I'd sign up right now for Memphis and Golden State, wouldn't you?
But I think you do. But here's the thing. I mean, I told this story a couple times, but when that series ended, Golden State, there was relief.
Yep.
On that
They
end.
knew they'd been in a tussle.
They knew, and you can tell they knew because look what they're doing to the Mavs now. Like this is easier work for them than that last round, and it's not just from the numbers, the 4-2 series win and all that. It's more so the fact that the way that Golden State plays, it plays right into the Grizzlies style of play, the way that the Grizzlies play, and that's why the Grizzlies turn them over so much. And I was talking to some of the Warriors writers at the end of the series, and they were trying to project, how Golden State would look against Phoenix or against Dallas. And they were like, well, at the end of the day, no one in the entire NBA is going to turn them over like this Grizzlies team.
Yep.
And that's the biggest difference. And it wasn't just this series. Even before this series, guys, when we were talking about it, when we were previewing this series, we knew that one consistent thing when these two teams play is Memphis creates so much turnovers because of the way they play in the passing lanes. They have all these guys who, have long arms, and they lead the NBA in deflections, steals, blocks, all these stats that play right into the hands of the way that Golden State and their motion offense. Golden State isn't high pick and roll like a lot of the NBA is. Golden State moves the ball a lot more. And if you have a team like the Grizzlies who can counteract that with the way that they like to get out in these passing lanes and they play so active, they're always going to be a thorn in their side if they can kind of fix a couple of the other kinks that hunted them in that series. So I agree with you, Brett. I don't think Golden State would be looking forward to that matchup.
So based on what we've seen in the conference finals so far, in the Eastern and the Western, who do you right now think is going to ultimately raise the Larry O'Brien Trophy?
I still think Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Miami is a really good team, but you look at Boston, I can't think of too many teams. Maybe those Detroit Pistons 2004 or San Antonio Spurs had it a couple times, but they're just on a lot of teams where 1 through 5 you can look at the lineup and say there's not one guy you want to go at one-on-one in that lineup. I mean, from Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, even guys like Derek White coming off the bench. Derek White was like the right there with DeJounte Murray in terms of guys in that Spurs backcourt who would just give teams all type of trouble. Yeah, and that's the thing about them. They have enough scoring. They have enough shot creating. Golden State, I mean, it's understandable why they're the favorite. The proof's in the pudding. But if Golden State matches up against Boston, the one thing that Boston don't have in its advantage is they've got more bodies to throw at Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole than anybody. Whereas most teams, it's like, okay, how do you guard Steph, Klay, Jordan Poole, and Andrew Wiggins at the same time? Boston has 5 guys in the starting lineup, and they have a couple coming off the bench who can sub right in, give them a breather, and keep that same defensive intensity. Problem is they got to get past, Eric Spoelstra and just a tough Miami team. But I still say Boston.
What has tripped me out, too, through these playoffs is Al Horford is still at his advanced
Rewinding
age.
The clock.
He is still so useful. And he played in the very ending era of the traditional big, and he has fit in every single year of his career to this NBA.
Remember who his running mate at Florida was, and his career's long been over. Joakim Noah.
Yeah. And by the way, DeMichael, for background, I have already made my Al Horford acceptance speech into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame.
Gabe's going to be presenter.
Yeah, I've already made my case for that.
Not Tito.
You think it's possible? Al Horford into the Hall of Fame eventually?
Well, I tell you what. When you talk about Hall of Fame, you have to consider in basketball, it's the entire resume.
That's right.
And you think about all the things he's done, not just here, but for college. I believe it's Dominican Republic, right?
Yeah, in the Olympics.
Yep, but for Dominican Republic basketball, you mentioned the back-to-back championships at Florida, and then if he gets this championship this season, Gabe, I mean, you got a nice case. I mean,
DeMichael, hop on board. All aboard the train to Al Horford's acceptance speech
Party
in
Springfield in Gabe's suite.
I love this. I'm so DeMichael. I'm glad you're on my side with this thing.
I'm jumping on, Gabe. Just say me a good speech.
Yeah, okay, I got you. DeMichael, appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, DeMichael.
All right.
You have a good one, man.
DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal with us, and so much fun to visit with him every Monday. And he's getting ready to go off the grid, and when he does, we appreciate it. We know he's ready for some summertime recreation and vacation. This hour of our show brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road and online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. All the cars thoroughly examined, test driven, checked out bumper to bumper, from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll go find that special car just for you. And yes, with their network of contacts, they can find that car for you right now, even as trying and testing as these times are in the car business. Family environment at DeSoto Auto Sales, kind, courteous staff, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales. They care about your time, and they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They know we live in a world today that time really matters, the hustle, the bustle, the gas price, everything, all the extraneous pressures on us. That's why they keep it simple. They've got it streamlined at DeSoto Auto Sales through all these years. Find the car you want, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're out of there in 45 minutes or less. It's a guarantee at DeSoto Auto Sales on Goodman Road and online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
We grab a break. When we come back, have some MLB news. Over the weekend, sort of a nasty thing going on. Yankees Josh Donaldson and White Sox Tim Anderson. Josh Donaldson now, from all that has happened, we'll get to it after the break, has been suspended a game. Also, we have some NFL news and some college football news to get to right here on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats.
You have opinions? You bet. Of course you do. Everyone does. Hit us up on the AutoZone listener line, 360-8255, 360-8255.
Say there was a place, the perfect place for everything you need for tailgates and patios, grills and chairs, charcoal and coolers, everything to make a great game or a great day. That perfect place wouldn't be a warehouse. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. Locally owned and operated at Quince and White Station, East Memphis Ace Hardware is where you'll find Benjamin Moore paints, local plants from local growers, and Black & Decker tools. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their tailgates. Welcome to East Memphis Ace Hardware, the home convenience store.
Better skin from your body wash? Try Olay Body Wash with skincare super ingredient collagen. Olay Body Wash with collagen hydrates to rejuvenate skin surface cells for healthier looking skin in just 14 days. From dry and dull to firm and radiant. So I can step into my day feeling my best in my skin. And now try Olay Body Lotion, which hydrates for visibly firmer skin that improves over time. Olay Body, fearless in my skin.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Hey, I got Jeff Allen live on the phone. Hey, what's going on over there at Gossett Kia, South Mount Moriah?
Look, Randy, it's crazy over here, and that's because we'll do whatever it takes to put you in a new Kia today. Check this out. I've got a 2022 Kia Forte LXS, only $219 a month, and a 2022 Kia Soul LX, $240 a month. Both 36-month lease and $27.99 due at signing. And if you're looking for some SUV action, 2022 Kia Sorento LX, $315, 36-month lease, and $34.99 due at signing.
And I know all Gossett Kias are equipped with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
That's right, Randy. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com. All 36-month leases, Forte NE 483 548, MSRP 21435, sold NHO 2976, MSRP 22045, Sorento NG 116657, MSRP 31290. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 6/2/22. Dealer stock only. Warranties. A limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Let's talk some numbers here.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
I used to feel so devastated.
Back rolling on Sports Time on Sports 56. Gabe and Stats with you. I'm Gabe. He's Stats. 30 minutes left in today's program. Hit us up at the AutoZone listener line 901-360-8255. Get in the zone. AutoZone. I have a couple of texts here that I have to read. Downtown Leo reminds us something about Mary is not Adam Sandler from our Millennial Monday. Something about Mary is Ben Stiller. It's Ben Stiller. I can see where you can. That's an obvious mix-up.
Yeah,
that's
not
fair.
a bad mix-up.
That's fair. That's fair. That's not that
Also,
bad.
Gabe, I looked up and I told this to Brett before we talked to DeMichael. Lollapalooza was in Atlanta in 94.
Now it's in Chicago.
So now it's in Chicago.
Okay, so there we go. You're right. You are
I got
correct.
my year off. I said 95. It was 94 because we went to Lollapalooza, and then that same crew wanted me to be the designated driver to World Cup in Dallas, and I went, not a chance. I've been in a car with y'all, not doing it again.
Now you know what lit means. Was Lollapalooza lit?
Oh, yeah.
No answer. Yeah, no answer. It's like, I forget what it means. I know I guessed it right, but what?
So what does it mean? I messed up Ben Stiller and Adam Sandler. The Pillow movie was the other one that I got wrong.
The Pillow movie.
Yeah, he was a neat freak like me.
Okay.
And every day he would make his bed, and somebody came in and threw all the pillows around and said, "Why are you wasting so much of your life putting these darn pillows right?"
It's a great question.
And I feel like that every morning when I make my bed.
Mm-hmm.
Gabe, do you make your bed?
Yeah, I do.
I don't make my bed.
Well,
I
let's just say female influence in the houses definitely makes you have to make your bed.
That's a good point.
It's just a lot.
I make my bed within 2 minutes of feet hitting the floor.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's okay.
That's impressive.
You know, you do one thing right, you do all things right. That's the idea behind
Well, it
making
makes the whole room look cleaner too.
Isn't it a mentality thing though?
Yeah, it's
Isn't
like
it
an
simply a
accomplishment
mentality
thing. That's what
thing?
people say.
It's a mentality thing.
Yeah, you can't make a slob neat, and you can't make someone need a slob. It's too late now. You can't make me a slob.
And this is from Tim, and he's on YouTube, and this is based on our Wrigley Field discussion we had there with David Cobb. He says, "I am with Gabe. I've been to Wrigley Field, and I was afraid that it was going to collapse while I was in there. I have also been to Fenway and was in the outfield bleachers, and I wasn't impressed." So Tim is not fooled by nostalgia.
I think Fenway is second, and I have been to to both, but I think Wrigley is better, in my opinion. I
You said
prefer
you
Wrigley.
love the smell. That's good. That's hilarious.
I did. And Gabe, I can tell you a stadium that has a certain smell to it, and it still has it. When I go to Simmons Bank at Liberty Stadium, and when you kind of clear the concourse area and you're going toward the ramp to go in,
right?
I still get that aroma I got when I was a little guy that I love.
At Wrigley, nothing like the smell of pee and hot dogs to make you fired up to go watch a ball game. And cigar smoke.
And stale beer.
And
but
the stalest of beer.
I get it at the fairgrounds at a Tigers game.
Mm-hmm. I get you. But I'm telling you, Wrigley it's cool. It's cool more than it is a good place to watch a ball game. That's my hot take for the day. Now, let's get to some MLB news. Josh Donaldson is now officially suspended 1 game for what he did to Tim Anderson on the field. He called him Jackie, and what he was referring to is Tim Anderson calling himself today's Jackie Robinson in a 2019 interview. He thought it was an inside joke, Donaldson said. Tony La Russa came out after the game, says it was an absolutely racist comment. But the end result of this, Josh Donaldson gets 1 game.
Here's my standard. Any conversation, any mention of the great Jackie Roosevelt Robinson, if it's not respectful, if it's not highbrow, if it's not sincere, if it's not glowing, don't say a word. Mm-hmm. Don't say a word about him. Don't let his name hit your lips if you can't say something nice. And that's where Donaldson got in trouble, and he should be in trouble. And it doesn't matter that Tim Anderson in the interview that he compared him. It doesn't matter at all. If you can't mention Jackie Robinson and it not be respectful, keep your flap shut.
I agree. That's a great rule to live by, Brett. I think that's very fair, and it is absolutely a racial comment. There's no question about it. But also
this is Jeffrey Leonard and Cardinal fans.
The one thing,
chanting Jeffrey,
the Donaldson
Jeffrey.
thing.
This is Jackie Robinson.
The Donaldson. Well, he called himself today's Jackie Robinson in an interview in 2019. That's not an excuse to be so tone deaf when you're going against a guy.
It's not an excuse to be like a butthead, and he was.
And the other thing that gets me is, I think it's an uncomfortable situation. Obviously, for obvious reasons. Because, yes, he said something relatively racial, maybe even racist. But I don't know if the intent was quite there, right? Like, the explanation from him, it's an inside joke that, joke. He called himself today's Jackie Robinson. He said he made it in the past, yada, yada, yada. But don't you usually have to have people that you have an inside joke with?
Get the joke.
Don't they have to like you? Don't they generally have a friendly relationship back and forth? So I this whole thing is already bizarre enough, and I think to really get an answer, and I don't know if this will ever happen because I think we're just going to put this behind us and try to move on as best we can. Someone does need to ask Tim Anderson if that ever came up in the past, or Josh Donaldson's just completely lying and fibbing to try to make himself look better. Because I don't know which one it is.
There are a couple of sports figures. I think Walter Payton holds that status in the NFL. If you're going to mention Walter Payton, do it with honor and respect, or don't mention him at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I do.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the NBA.
I do. And also, here's the thing.
Kareem holds that status.
When people, and I'm trying to say this as lightly and as fair as possible, when people use the term racist, I don't know if Josh Donaldson is a racist. I do know that he's not very well liked. I know he's not the most liked guy around the MLB. I do know that about him. But I think when you go out there and dub him a racist based on this, and it was a racist racial comment, I get that. Do you think you need more information to really dub that? That's the one question I would ask, because I've seen that going around social media and everything else.
But you probably do, Gabe, to be really fair. But if this is all the information you have,
I agree.
You have to decide, then I made my decision.
Yeah,
Tony La Russa made his.
Yep, that's very true. You are what you portray yourself to be, And this is not a good look for Josh Donaldson. He gets the one game. And Aaron Boone tried to stick up for him. I just wonder how that goes across in his own locker room as well. There's a lot of things with Josh Donaldson that I have not heard good. I have not heard good things about Josh Donaldson as a locker room presence. I'll just put it that way.
I'll add another one to my list of, if you don't have anything nice to say, clam up. I think Muhammad Ali should be on that list.
Yes, but again, there's a lesson to be learned there, and I didn't think you needed to learn it, but Josh Donaldson apparently
and then the Yankee fans were awful, and Tim Anderson got the last laugh.
Three-run home run, and they won 5-0. So shout out. But that type of joke,
and Tony La Russa did this for all the right reasons, but this may be the fuse that gets lit for them.
Mm-hmm. That's true. They haven't been so good this far this year. Last thing I'll say on Josh Donaldson's front, you have to realize the connotation of bringing up Jackie Robinson's name. That's something that I didn't think we would have to learn. Anybody in the MLB right now knows the significance of Jackie Robinson. You wear his number and his jersey a day out of the year, a weekend out of the year. You should understand the connotation that comes with using that name and how powerful it is to some people and a lot of people, most people in the MLB.
Well, Gabe, it's why the whole topic, and some people are really scared of the topic of race in America and race in sports.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not at all, and it's a good example of we've come in the last 50 years 1,000,000 miles. That doesn't mean you're at the end of the race. It means you got 10 million to go.
That means you have a long way to go still. That's well put. That's well put. Now, to a little more lighthearted conversation. Jimbo Fisher has spoken up again about his recruiting class, and he says 11 early enrollees of the number one recruiting class, only one has an NIL deal. I think that's a little bit. He's hiding a lot behind that in that statement. I think yes, one is on an NIL deal right this second, but how many more are going to follow? We talked to Chris Gordy about that earlier.
Here's what I'm scared of, Gabe. I'm scared that Jimbo's going to speak off the cuff a bunch at booster events, at summertime golf events, at summertime events, and he's going to keep digging.
Yep.
And by the time we get to SEC Media Days, he's not going to be able to say a word between the commissioner, between his administration, the A&M Board of Regents. They're going to tell him to be quiet.
The way he's talking right now, and I mean this wholeheartedly, he's making himself look weaker. I really believe that. Like, you have the number one recruiting class.
You didn't have to explain.
Exactly, I agree. You've done everything the right way through this NIL era. You've gotten the number one recruiting class. You found a way to get them on campus. They're going to get on NIL deals. You have deep pockets at A&M. Embrace it. Stop being so. He needs to stop being so abrasive to everyone else just because he seems to be the thin-skinned one.
It's that little brother aspect to A&M's entire existence, and they shouldn't be. Now, I know they were very proud to finally be liberated of Texas, of the other UT, the west of the Mississippi UT. And it flew all over them last year. That's why their side kind of leaked the story at SEC Media Days last year of the incoming two new schools from the Big 12, Texas and OU. And it's going to happen. They couldn't have stopped it if they'd have wanted to.
Right.
It's so much bigger than anything they can imagine. They liked having something different than Austin, than Texas. They've got a lot different. Embrace it. Quit playing into the little brother stereotype.
Here's the other thing I have to give A&M credit for. From their addition to the SEC, they have fit in relatively well. Like, they've done a good job of making themselves into, quote-unquote, an SEC brand, and they need to embrace that.
Had a Heisman winner, won a Cotton Bowl. That show Johnny
9-win, 10-win seasons. There you go.
That show Johnny put on against Big Game Bob Stoops in Oklahoma in that Cotton Bowl, that's one of the all-timers. They won an Orange Bowl 2 years ago. Just 2 years ago, they won an Orange Bowl. And Saturday, I was in Oxford and saw the dog pile on the infield in Oxford of them winning the SEC West in baseball.
So yeah, that little brother attitude doesn't need to be. They don't need to lean into that as much as you have. And you think about who they came in with at that time in Missouri. Like, they fared a lot better as an SEC team, as an SEC athletic department than Mizzou has.
And I'm still glad to have A&M for no other reason than how much Gene Stallings wanted it, and then the then governor of Texas, Rick Perry, and how hard they worked to get it done. I'm glad A&M's in, and I love going there every year. And they are that nice. They're waving at the bus when you leave, and they're so welcoming and nice. And I told them, I said, few trips to Baton Rouge, and y'all will change.
Mm-hmm. Now, Greg Sankey, obviously the commish, has spoken up, and obviously he reprimanded all the parties involved with the Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban, Lane Kiffin madness that we had at the end of last week. But he was talking to Yahoo Finance, and he expressed a little bit of displeasure with the NIL system. He said, quote, "We're not seeing name, image, and likeness activity. We're seeing just straight payments. And I think it's important that we recenter ourselves on what's supposed to be happening here and the desire to keep that activity out of recruitment to benefit young people economically, but to do so in a healthy way," end quote. So basically piggybacking off of what Nick Saban said in the grand scheme. He said that it's less about striking deals, getting sponsorships, getting endorsements. It's more about pay to play than we envisioned it would be.
Yeah, of course it is, and I don't know why they're shocked of and the lack of envisioning, because I could see it coming a mile away, and now they're going to have to address it, and they're going to have to get things right. They're going to have to do it at a lot of levels, administratively, maybe with the NCAA, but for sure as a league, and the state laws are going to have to be buttressed.
We have to get to our final break of the day. The one thing I'll say before we do that is we're in a free market, for lack of a better term, right this second with NIL. Mm-hmm. If we do get to a point where FBS breaks off, what have you, and Greg Sankey runs a certain level, you have the higher-ups, you have a committee running college football. Putting that toothpaste back in the tube and not making it a full free market is going to cause a lot.
To be put back in.
But it'll cause a lot of division from player to athletic department, and I wonder how, obviously we've dealt with a lot here in the past couple of years with the changing landscape of college athletics. That would just add another dimension to me.
I got an NIL for you. I got a name. It's called the Commissary. I got an image. It's called Barbecue, and I got a likeness. Germantown Commissary, Collierville Commissary. Alike, but yet similar. Or different yet similar. The new Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar are the original in Germantown, and it's that Memphis-style barbecue we've come to know and love and be able to enjoy for over 40 years now at the Germantown Commissary, and now with the new Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar. And with all the technological advances, they've made them, and all the improvisation you had to make coming out of COVID, they've made them. And if you're craving the easier way to order, text Commissary to 33733. Do that right now for dinner time or for tomorrow at lunch. Start that barbecue feast with great appetizers like the cheese plate or the nachos or the tamales, the smoked chicken wings, the nachos, a staple now at sports across the country, invented in the early 80s at the Germantown Commissary. Dig into the ribs of the shoulder, chopped or pulled on a sandwich or on the plate, and all the sides. Beans, slaw, deviled eggs, bread as well. And you can order it by the pound or a 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack. And the best desserts you can imagine. Best lemon icebox pie I've ever had anywhere. And the outstanding banana pudding. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and Germantown. Those party areas, this cool night like tonight to watch the NBA games, to watch the hockey, you can at the new Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown.
Final break of the day. When we come back, Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. SeatGeek is your go-to app for the best seats in the house. Concerts, festivals, comedy shows, and right in my wheelhouse, sporting events of all types. They are the highest-rated ticketing app. Why? Because there are so many satisfied customers. SeatGeek scours the web and puts tickets all in one place to make buying simple. They also rate every ticket to make sure you're getting the best deal available. Get your butt off the couch and into the best seats at the biggest events around. Transparency is the key to the best deals. That's what you get with SeatGeek, the best search engine to find the top tickets and the best bargains. And you can get $20 off your first purchase with promo code GASMAN at SeatGeek.com or on the SeatGeek app. That's promo code GASMAN for $20 off your first SeatGeek order. SeatGeek, get your seat in a seat. Download the app today.
It's time to vacation at home with Family Leisure. That's right. Enjoy a vacation in your own backyard with a little help from Family Leisure. Like play gyms and trampolines, they're now $500 off. And those trampolines, by the way, they've got that mesh on the side, so trampolines are now safe, and you'll be the hit of the neighborhood. They've got hot tubs in stock and ready to go, and you can get up to $1,000 off when you pick them up. All kinds of do-it-yourself pool specials, like savings of up to $1,500 on all in-stock pools when you pick it up and install them yourself. And if you're looking for patio furniture, then stop on in, because they have tons in stock and they're ready for you to pick up. So get ready for that vacation at home with the help from Family Leisure. Family Leisure's Vacation at Home sale. It's happening right now at Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun truly do come together.
In the alley since 1948, the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see everything kind of getting back to normal.
Brett, we've done a lot of ads before, but maybe it's time for me to do a recap. We have valet parking at the end of our alley on Monroe. On Fridays and Saturdays, we give away our wonderful red beans and rice until it runs out. And you know we like to do things local. Miss Barbara Jackson of O Taste and See has been making these wonderful chess and pecan pies, that's pecan, not pecan, and key lime pies for dessert. And we just started serving this wonderful gelato from Sweet Magnolia Gelato Company. And just to remind everybody, you don't eat cheese and sausage with a knife and fork. You take a cracker, you put sausage on it, you put a piece of cheese on it, a little mustard or a little sauce, take a bite and chase it with the pickle. Brett, we've always been the place for all gatherings, whether they're corporate, rehearsal dinners, retirement parties, birthday parties, whatever. We seat anywhere from 20 people to 250 people. And oh, by the way, we are now open for lunch from 11 o'clock on Tuesday through Saturday. Come see us at the Rendezvous.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Did you know Willis Carrier invented the modern air conditioning system in 1902? Since then, a lot has changed, but one thing that hasn't is being comfortable in your home. Choate's prides itself in creating the most comfort possible with each one of our customers' HVAC systems we install. We believe the best system on the market today is the Carrier Infinity System. This system has the ability to save up to 50% or more on your utilities compared to your existing HVAC system and is tailored to enhance your comfort with its state-of-the-art green speed technology. Right now, Carrier is offering up to 72 months, no interest financing, or rebates of up to $1,650 on a new Carrier Infinity system. Don't miss this limited time offer to have a more comfortable home and save money on your utility bills. Give us a call today at 347-8086 or visit us at ChoatesHVAC.com for more information. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
I couldn't believe it either, but that thing runs like new.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
My nail tech knows how to keep a little secret. I don't wish
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Pretty cool deal here with what I learned today. Former Giants Pro Bowl offensive lineman David Deal actually played left guard and left tackle for those Super Bowl winning teams with Eli Manning, has announced on Instagram that he's going to start his coaching career by joining the University of Memphis staff. So he will now be working as an offensive analyst for Coach Silverfield. Very, very cool.
Big time addition. Super Bowl champion addition to Tigers.
Another thing about this, and I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No.
Coach Silverfield, it just shows he really does, from his NFL days to now, he has a lot of connections that he has made in his football career.
He knows them all, and he also, it speaks to him and his own security to bring in another offensive line man because he has a great one.
Yep.
And Gabe, we know it. It all starts up front with the big guys. We didn't say Husky, though, did we?
No, don't say Husky. Come on, I got to be careful.
I learned that Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols' pitching line is almost identical. They both pitched one inning this year. They both Albert gave up 3 hits. Yadi gave up 4. They both have allowed 4 earned runs, 0 Ks for either one of them, and both with ERAs of 36.00. All right, enough of this tomfoolery. Let's don't risk it again with them being hurt.
What I could have done without, I guess David Cobb saying I need to go shop at the Husky section. That's something I could have done without. No, but what I really could have done without, Kyler Murray will skip Cardinals OTAs. And usually when I talk about OTAs in the offseason, it's not news to me, but it's news considering how this offseason has played out. His agent, Eric Burkhart, penning an open letter to the Cardinals saying we want to get a long-term deal done. Kyler Murray deleting all things off his social media that have any Cardinals any Cardinals sort of logo on it. So it's been something, but we are talking about a guy who was the Offensive Rookie of the Year, 2-time Pro Bowl selection, improved win totals every year. He made it into the playoffs last year. So I think they need to pay him but before they sort of run out of time. Also, worth mentioning, Cardinals will be the in-season Hard Knock, so that's going to be fun to watch, I would imagine. A lot of storylines.
It sure will with Cliff Kingsbury and with Kyler Murray. I could have done without the whole Will Zalatoris on number 6, the par 3, with the ball behind the green in no man's land. That's re-tee for the rest of us in golf, but he knew the rules, and he ended up actually closer. I didn't think there was any way in any rule you can end up closer no matter what. The penalty is always you don't get closer, but he had to hit from the pavement and an all-world bogey, and that would have been the shot of the tournament if he had won it.
Yeah, what I'm looking forward to tonight, Heat at Celtics at 7:30, but the St. Louis sports scene is
Clark
pretty nice
Street
tonight.
Special.
How about it? Blue Jays, Cardinals, Barrios versus Michaelis, 2 really good pitchers, and then in the NHL, Avs visiting the Blues after that loss the other night. And Nazem Kadri, I know he's been getting threats. That's tough to see.
Yeah,
definitely ran into Jordan Pennington, though, and I looked
Sure
relatively purposeful, but hey, I digress. But that'll do it.
Two great baseball matchups tonight. Brewers, Padres late, and Giants and Mets late.
That'll do it for today. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to David Cobb, Chris Gordy, and to Michael Cole for their contributions to the program. For Brett, for Brian, I'm Gabe. Enjoy your night and be safe. We'll holler at you tomorrow.
The weather and the deals are heating up over at Gossett Kia Covington Pike.